Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome to episode 16 of the KoppsCast right here at twitch.tv/BKopps. Of course, as always, I'm your host, BKopps. We're on this channel. We play a whole bunch of RPGs, a whole bunch of retro stuff, and here, generally every other Thursday. The schedule's been a bit in flux lately. And I realized I didn't turn my alerts down. Trip, thank you so much for the 9-month sub. Twitch, baby. Thank you so much, man. And Mitch, thank you for the 50 bits as well, my friend. How's it going, everybody? And yeah, like I was saying, generally every other Thursday, new schedule will be coming in the new year. This is the final interview of 2020. Appreciate all of you that have tuned in for any of them, maybe even all of them. But regardless, these have been an absolute blast. And for these interviews, we have on various content creators. We have musicians. We have streamers. We have YouTubers. A whole bunch of folks. And just to give them a little love, and of course today's is no exception. An old buddy I met a year ago through one of the gaming communities. I was waiting for that, sorry. No, it's all good, Trip, all good. Nice shirt. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so today was, generally I will I'll wear a button up for this, but because it's the last one before the holidays, figured, just wear a sweater. It's the most festive sweater that I have, even though it's not really festive at all. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. We got Robbie in here. Robbie, glad to see you. Mitch, thank you again for those 50 bits. Appreciate it. And Deadpan, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you as well. Luke Sharp, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, like I was saying, today's guest, he's a real good dude. Always in good spirits, especially like on his channel. Always will put you in a better mood whenever you tune into him. When he started up, he was under a different moniker. Then recently rebranded to his assumingly it was your general name before. But yeah, so we'll get into that. I'm gonna have some questions about all that stuff as we got cat jams going. But anyway, without further ado, let's bring this guy out, shall we? Without further ado, here is CampTheBoy. Welcome in, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me, and for being the last interview of 2020. I figured you.
I'm feeling good, and I can't even stress how honored I am to be this final interview for you on this renowned cast.
I mean, I told you that, with you being the last one, I wanted to have because we have Christmas next week, right around the corner, and yeah, you're always the most jolly human that I know. So, so who better than Camp himself?
Thank you so much for the praise. I mean, when you've got friends like BKopps on your side, like how much jollier could you be, But thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I mean, I wish I was looking snazzy like you. I was thinking last minute of grabbing like an ugly Christmas sweater. I've got a few, but I didn't want to dip out and then all of a sudden you introduce me and it's just an empty room with no one else. So
that's fine.
Maybe I'll snag one later on.
Yeah, whatever works for you. We got 10 here too. 10, welcome in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Love to see you playing some DKC2 yesterday. One of my all-time favorites.
Oh my god, so well. Good.
Dude, actually, I 102% that game twice this year. I did it.
Oh my god.
I did it once solo on the channel, and then I did it once co-op with my partner.
Wow.
and I've never beaten a game co-op like with like entirely like with somebody else too. So that was a really fun experience for me.
Yeah, I tried. So I tried doing co-op DKC, and it's like kind of crazy. So well, there's the way that I thought they would do co-op isn't exactly how they do co-op. It's like because I thought it would be like each of you controls one of the lives, like, and so then like when you die, that person gets is thrust into it. But when I tried to play with my friend, like it was probably like 2 months ago, it's like you have the 2 lives, and when you lose, you go back to the like overworld, and then they have their chance to go, and you like switch back and forth that way.
Yeah, because there's I mean, all the games they have a 2-player team, which is you like it'll switch between the two. You'll one person will be in control the whole time until they get a hit or whatever. But then there's also 2-player contest, which is you're essentially like playing the game twice and just like racing through each level. Like you do this level first, then the next group goes, you go through that level, and just basically racing to the end. But yeah, it was it was a nice test of. Especially like with my partner too, if you can beat that without fighting or anything, you found the one,
Yeah, exactly.
You found the perfect partner.
That's what I was playing with my close gaming buddy, but we couldn't figure that out. So eventually we'd play single player, and then right when someone would die, we just whip the controller at like the other person, and hopefully they'd be able to pause like or whatever soon enough to not get hit. But yeah, that's it. So that when aggravation, like when tempers rose, it became very easy to just throw a little bit extra power into that controller pass, and then that was fun for a little while, but it just got too tough. He's not very good at platformers either, so it ended up being a lot of me just kind of playing, and then I'd give it to him. He would die in the first like 5 minutes, and then I just get to play again. So we ended up, I think, going to ended up playing Castle Crashers or something like that afterwards.
Nice. Co-op DKC, you say? Yeah. Be co-ops.
Yeah,
I love it.
But yeah, no, I don't think I ever played DKC 2 though. But that's with Diddy and Trixie.
Dixie.
Dixie. So it's close.
Yeah, Trixie was 64, I think.
Oh yeah, that's why I got it mixed up. We played 64 at the cabin earlier this year.
But you have Switch, obviously, so it's free. 2 is free on the Switch app, and then as of tomorrow, 3 is going to be free on there.
Wow, what a perfect timing to be talking about all of this.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of that game too, I should want it before I get into questions with you. I want to get a quick announcement out of the way, like right off the start. I told everyone on the channel. I told it on, posted it on Twitter and stuff, in Discord. This Sunday, we have a 12-hour charity broadcast happening right here on the channel. Have a special guest coming in, who will also we're going to be playing some co-op stuff together, and even do some Jackbox at some point with everybody. So it's gonna be a real fun time. So it's gonna be starting at 8 a.m. And all the proceeds are gonna go to Toys for Tots, which, if you're unfamiliar with them, it's an organization established by the Marines that will they essentially help families that are less fortunate, so they can get presents or be able to fund to get presents for kids that otherwise might not be able to get gifts for the holiday. So it's a really great cause, and all of my friends like Mega Gremlin, everyone from the Connection Project, they donate to them every year, and I thought, why not? I always wanted to throw my hat in the ring of doing a charity broadcast at some point, and right before Christmas, it's like, let's just do it. I really want to make this happen, and let's give it a shot.
Yeah, so. Definitely. I mean, look at that like smile too, like, right, just look at. Can you even deny that you'd want to give a little bit to any charity that smile like insists that you give to?
Set an alarm for it, Robbie. I appreciate it.
That darn smile is what got me.
Yeah, so we'll be playing games. We'll have donation incentives for various numbered donations. So if you donate $5, like we'll have I'm basically gonna have like my screen set up that will be writing everyone's names down. So your name will go up on the backdrop as an example, and through different intervals there'll be different incentives, and yeah, it'll be a real fun time. So looking forward to that. This Sunday, 8 a.m. So hope to see all of you there at some point during there. If not, no worries. But yeah, like I said, it's for a great cause, and really looking forward to it. So yeah.
Yeah, actually the fourth Christmas ghost from A Christmas Story, I think it is called, is actually the ghost of B Copps's mustache. And it was like ghost of, past, future, and present, and then, of course, B Copps's mustache. And it was just like a floating, like heavy mustache that Scrooge had to talk to, and learned a lesson. But I don't want to spoil the movie.
Bob has a great smile. Oh, thanks, Robbie. Handsome man. No, you, Mitch.
Ah.
Yeah.
But that's an amazing cause. I'll definitely be. I'll shoot it over to the cabin, and hopefully the campers will be able to give back too. But that's an awesome 12-hour stream.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate that, dude. Seriously. And I mean, I've never gone more than 8 hours on here, so I'm hoping that doing it with somebody for a good chunk of it that'll help.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. I mean,
yeah. As someone who I did a 24-hour stream like pretty early on in my streaming career, and yeah, you're not really ever prepared for it. I realized that, and I've done I've 8 to 10 like a couple times, but the 24 was. I felt my body like break down during that stream.
Mm.
Whew.
Actually,
just make sure to get up and like stretch.
I actually set a channel point challenge to make it 24 hours, but because I set the bar like way too high. But I was just curious. But I was curious to see if we could make it happen, and I set it between like a couple months. But then, real life kind of hit me with the whole situation with this place, and it's just like I don't know. I don't think I can actually if I push it 24, that would I don't know. I can't right now. Maybe another time. Yeah. I'll do this 12-hour one first, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, how exhausting was that for you by the end of it?
Oh my god, I was in like a haze. It was like the day that Call of Duty Modern Warfare dropped, so I just was playing Modern Warfare multiplayer or something like that for the majority of it. And yeah, it was crazy. You cramp up so bad, your legs. Just imagine sitting in a chair for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I started doing it every hour or whatever. I would just go and stretch it out, make a snack, refill the water, But no, I did the same thing, but I maybe lowballed as far as the channel point redemptions with the 24.
Yeah.
But I lowballed it kinda on accident, and the channel just hit it 2 days ago for another 24-hour stream.
Wait, how many did you set it at?
I think it was 300K camper coins, but the thing is, I have a couple dedicated campers who just have accumulated an ungodly amount of camper coins. So the cap is for 2,000 a day. So over the course of a couple months, everybody was, they'd throw in the 2,000 every single stream, basically just because they had it accumulated from watching. So at one point, I think when it hit 80%, I was like, oh god, is this actually happening again? And then just like that, we were at 100 in. So yeah, I owe them a 24-hour. I told them sometime this month we might set it up. So I still have to figure it out.
I say maybe. Well, do you have free time in the work schedule during the Christmas break and stuff? That you might do it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those times while it's free, and There are a few different things you like learn. Like you want to start around like the time you want to go to bed the next day.
Yeah.
So like start around like 9-10 p.m. and that way when you finish the 24 hours, you can just crawl into
Go
bed
right to
and
bed. Yeah.
your sleep schedule won't be messed up completely.
Yep.
Because I think I did it at like I started at like 7 or 6. Like the last time I did it, it was like November of 2019, and yeah, I started at like 7, so I ended at 7, and then I didn't want to go to bed yet. So I remember I went out, I left the stream deck, and I was like Maurice was just chilling out there, and I was like completely just like zonked. I had no idea who I was or where I was, or anything, or when I was, what year it was, and I remember I just laid down on the couch. I was like, dude, I can't go to bed yet. I need to like, I'll just lay down here and watch something, and I just passed out on the couch like within 3 seconds of laying down.
And you wake up and it's like 7 p.m. the next day.
Yeah. Also, I literally slept for like 12 hours.
Yeah. Dude, there was a time where I went to a midnight screening in Boston. Do you know where the Coolidge Corner Theater is?
Oh my God, dude, it's my favorite theater.
So I went there for a midnight screening of The Room. Are you familiar with that movie?
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, their midnight screenings of that are amazing.
So I went there I went there twice. The first time was just it was just for the screening. The second time we went there because Tommy and Greg were there.
Wow.
And at one point, there's a video of it on Facebook. I need to figure out how to get it. 'Cause I'm not on Facebook anymore. One of our old friends, shot it, and it's on her Facebook somewhere. But anyway, there was a point where I was up on stage and I was throwing an empty water bottle around with Greg. And let me tell you, like, even though I've like played, I've played concerts before. I mean, we're gonna get into a music discussion a little bit too. But out of all the times like I've like played live in front of people, that was straight up the most like nerve-wracking thing like ever for me, because it's like,
wow, really?
Because it's like, well, because you're really like concentrated on. When you're throwing an empty water bottle, just imagine that you're throwing an empty water bottle. That thing will go in like any direction. Like it'll just dip.
Oh yeah.
It'll
definitely.
like, it won't like be like the perfect throw like every time. And I mean the pressure was on there because I think they wanted you to go back and forth like 20 times to get like free merch or something. And I was like, I'm probably not gonna get it, but fuck it, I'll try it. And yeah, so I think I got to like 10, and there was like a few times where I had like close calls where I like juggled it and I like caught it, like
the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering where the stakes came in, because I was like, you're literally like just sweating it out, throwing an empty water bottle for no reason. Just the idea of that, I was like, why are you so stressed? Like, I was like, and then okay, so it's for some merch, more understandable.
Yeah,
I can understand where the stakes come in now.
Yeah.
No, that especially where they do like with the stage and like that specific theater, it's so like pretty. It's just so old, like old school, old fashioned.
Yeah.
I actually got to interview Sam Neill in that theater.
Really?
Of Jurassic Park fame.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He had done it was Taika's movie, Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know if Taika Waititi of I mean, he's most famous for doing Thor Ragnarok, but he was like a more low-key New Zealand director before that, doing like What We Do in the Shadows and Boy.
Yep.
But Hunt for the Wilder People is really good, and it had the disgruntled Sam Neill and bearded Sam Neill in it. And yeah, I got to talk to him afterwards and ask a couple of Jurassic Park questions, but mostly I had to ask about his movie and then life philosophies.
Awesome. And like, was that so was that like a place you're working for that like you would do interviews like as part of a thing?
Well, so
like,
I did that. Yeah, I did that. So the interviews I did for I was working at Emerson Radio, WERS. It's like 88.9, I think. But and so they would send me out to concerts or to whatever screenings or where like to interview bands or interview actors or whatever. And so I would get to meet a couple people as while I was on the job and do some interviews, and that was really cool. Yeah. But no, that was also totally unpaid, so I couldn't do it. So I did it for like 1 year, and then I had to pay my way through living and all that stuff. So it
Mhm.
was like, well, this is an amazing opportunity. But at the same time, I need to get an actual
Mhm.
job to pay rent and all utilities and everything.
Were these like video interviews, or was it just like you like went up and like kind of did like a voice like thing with them, and then they like shared it like on the radio or whatever?
Yeah, I would do. So I would. I it was voice interviews. So
Mhm.
basically, I would a lot of them were write-ups actually. So I would record with like my phone,
Mhm.
and then I would have like a notebook with me as well. Like that I would jot down questions and jot down like either like time, like a time number that like where there was something good that I wanted to hear. At the same time, I would also transcribe it afterwards anyway.
Mhm.
But I would take notes and do it everything in notebooks, and then I would just roll with my phone mic, and then it was just word of mouth interviews.
Mhm.
And then yeah, most of them would end up being write ups for their website and like content that way. But yeah, no, weirdly enough, no, it was never like radio. It would interviews. I guess they would mostly get the people to come in studio for those.
Mhm.
Yeah, they would interview them like the DJs or whatever would interview them or ask them a couple questions, and they would play like a live set or whatever.
Hmm. That's really cool, man. Do you ever think of essentially like doing something like that, like you kind of like how we're doing now, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I definitely like. I find the format very, very. Maybe it's just because I really have a good time just like having conversations with people and picking people's brains and
Mhm.
everything. So I like definitely find myself like having fun with the format, but I've never like just done it myself.
Hmm.
Maybe one day we'll try. Like even at the cabin we do like the camper phone calls like,
Yeah.
and those are always just spur of the moment, and it still comes out pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like, and we're able to just talk for an hour or whatever about whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I've never tried like doing that, uh, like just as my own kind of deal.
Yeah, that was super fun. Because I took part in that on your channel. It was a while ago, but yeah, it was just like saving up channel points and then you just redeem it, and then yeah, essentially became like a version of like your interview or whatever. That like you're just
Yeah.
like on the cusp, like, and
Yeah, and but I mean, hey,
it's a
it was a
good
while
time.
ago, but your picture's still on the fridge, man. That's the that's the best part.
Exactly.
You get the picture on the fridge in the kitchen. Absolutely like iconic, and you stay there for the rest of eternity.
Hmm. So you said you went to Emerson. You grew up in the New England area, mostly like the northern part.
Yeah, yeah. New Hampshire, born and raised. Pretty close to Rhode Island, and where you're situated.
Yep.
But yeah. Went to Emerson College in Boston, and that was amazing, and met some amazing friends there, and I mean, just kind of like grew as a creative person there. Definitely did like sketch and improv comedy, and I mean, I was doing music before that, and so continued doing music there.
Hmm.
Um, I worked at that big like AMC Lowe's in downtown.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't know if you'd ever been like that to that one. It's like the biggest one in Boston, and it's in right next to the Boston Common.
Hmm.
I got to meet a ton of actors and actresses that way as well because I ended up becoming like a manager there, and like that's where they would hold all the huge screenings for movies, and then they'd have all the big act because it was the biggest theater in like the New England area, so that's where they would all the actors would come in, and I got to meet like a ton of big names. Like I mean Denzel
Wow.
was a big one there. Like I mean the list goes on. Oh yeah, Nick Offerman and what's her name? His wife.
I'm blanking.
Totally blanking on her name right now,
Yeah.
but they were amazing. But yeah, just a ton of different actors and actresses, and just cool meeting grounds in Boston for those things. But
For sure.
yeah,
Type Potato, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. As well as
Typo.
Ferris, hope you're doing well too. Happy to have all
Ferris,
of you here.
yeah. Amazing to see all you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so you went to Emerson was it for music, for production? What did you go to school for? And ultimately, like, is that like part of what you do now, or just did you end up like veering off into something else career wise, or what was the path? What was your path like past college
Yeah,
or through college?
Firstly, I'll say I can see that everyone's telling me to hydrate. So
Mm.
I've got my Yeti, water Nalgene. So I'll take 3 sips for those.
Thanks for the hydrates, everybody.
But,
Trav, welcome in, by the way. Jordan,
Oh,
welcome
another
in.
one, a fourth. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, and I tell my stream that every time. Like, guys, you need to hydrate.
Mhm.
Where's the Uncrusties is the real question. I'm all out of frozen Uncrusties, and it's a travesty. But no, I in Emerson I went for writing, literature, and publishing, and that eventually got me into copywriting in marketing.
Mhm.
And so I actually still do that to this very day.
Nice.
Yeah, but I originally had gone more into publishing, and that was interesting, but it was kind of too. As someone who was always, I mean, I actually am a children's book author as well, and I've published. I've self-published a book that way, and that
Really?
I randomly kind of got a little big.
What's the book?
It's called Leopold's New Scoop.
Leopold.
And it was based off of an ice cream shop from in Savannah, Georgia, where my illustrator and really close friend Nick Cannon went to college. And so I ended up writing that, and I've always just kind of been more of a creative individual, and so publishing was very cut and dry. Like, there's no like creative freedom in it. It's just very business, and like you can make some decent money in it, but at the same time it wasn't really tickling my fancy. And so I ended up kind of like, I was like, all right, well, what can I do here with, like, I mean, I don't, as much as I'd love to be just a starving artist, this isn't a very cheap school to go to. And so I what can I do with, like, creatively with writing and all that stuff, and all, just in comedy and everything that I'd done up to that point. And I had an uncle who ran an ad agency out of Newburyport, and he was like, I kind of one random family gathering, he was just like, that they need creatives in marketing, right? And I was like, what? And he's like, have you heard of copywriting? And I was like, not at all. And he was like, yeah, that basically just being a creative writer in like a marketing space and getting a salary and everything. And I was like, music to my ears. So I transitioned my career goals like halfway through college to that. And yeah, after then it's just been like I've had a few different positions in some ad agencies and marketing agencies doing that. And then I mean that kind of extends to like script writing and video as well. But it's mostly ad writing and like product writing and all that fun stuff. Most people just know it from, like, I guess in Mad Men they were copywriters, Don Draper and his crew. But I've never seen it, and like I'm assuming it's very different than what is actually being done today. Like it's not nearly as amazing.
That's
as
awesome,
maybe what
man.
Don Draper made it seem like it to be.
But still, that's awesome, man, and yeah, it's good to still see you involved in that field too. Like, it's really great, dude.
Yeah. What did you like? What was your? I'm actually curious what your path was. Like, I don't think I know anything about your professional life or like your schooling.
So through like high school, like by the end of high school, I figured I'd go for graphic design, and basically just kept going forward with that through college. Got my degree. Also got a degree in art history, even though like I just dreaded those classes. But it was but it was at a point where it was like, you only need like 2 more of these classes to get the minor, right? I'm like, all right, I guess. But well, not that I like hate art history. It's just like the way that they taught it, like, because you're literally dry, and like you go over like one painting, and then you like never talk about it again until the exam or whatever. But anyway, I got my degree in graphic design. After over a year, like after or almost a year after I graduated, then I was finally able to get a gig, and and luckily I've been in that field. I've still been in that field ever since, and it's been a good time. I do freelance stuff on the side too. And
Nice.
yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of crazy with art history. I had some art history classes later on in college, and like I remember not caring at all, like younger, about art in general, like about like pictures and of murals and of anything like made, really old art. And like it's kind of weird as you get older how like you kind of just appreciate it more and more. I remember being a kid and going to like museums and being so bored and like, it's just all these art pieces around you, and but you don't really care for them in the slightest, and it's just like whatever, like when can we go to McDonald's or whatever. And then eventually like I think I literally hit just one random point where I like pinpointed it in my head, and I was like, why do all of a sudden I think museums are so cool? Like I went to like the art Museum of Arts, or it was like what is it called in Boston? Not the Museum of Fine Arts, there's another one, but I went there and I started just like looking at the paintings, and I was like, this is so cool. Like this is the actual painting of like Monet and like all these other amazing artists. And I was like, wow, when did museums just all of a sudden get I must just be getting older and like way lamer than I was as a kid.
The museums are a good time, man. They're a real fun time. Like I wish we could have done, like, especially like being in the class, like we like made more trips or whatever. Like it was just like, the one per semester you'd go. But I mean, there was a few times where I'd go. Like I had a buddy that lived in Boston that I would visit him. I'd visit him often, and there's a couple times where we just went to the art museum up there, and it was, dude, that place. I love that spot. Like I want to go back, like once things get back to normal again. But
yeah, I'm down. Maybe when things go back to normal, we'll hit up a nice little MFA visit.
Exactly. And Typo got a nice Jamie Ginch tonight. Figured the last one before the holidays, so drinking somewhat fancy tonight. And Jedi, welcome in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you. And Travioli. Appreciate you popping in too.
The Dean of Debauchery, Don Draper. Wow, that's some hardcore alliteration. But that's awesome. I mean, I work a lot with graphic designers and everything, just because I'm being the copywriter. Like you kind of work hand in hand.
Yeah, so you basically write everything out and then you give it to them. Like, all right, now make this like look pretty.
Exactly, or like it's either I've done it both ways, where it's either segmented and then you give it to them and then they'll dress it up, or like you're like together and you're kind of like, this would look good here. What should the text say? And then you kind of go back and forth with it. And then I do a little bit of graphic design on the side, but I'd never have the cojones to call myself a graphic designer.
You dabble?
Yeah, just dabble, especially for freelance stuff. Like it makes it a little bit easier if you know what you're doing in Illustrator and in Photoshop and everything. I mean, just with publishing classes, you get to know, like, especially in like the InDesign like field, like how to format things. So it sort of just came with all my studies, like that I just got to know a little bit of it and just got to play around with making things look decent. So then I was like, and also it's kind of crazy how many people who have small businesses that are just old don't understand how easy it is to make like a decent website. And so if you ever needed like to do any sort of freelance stuff, like that was a really it's just an alley-oop like of doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, so I ended up doing that in Boston, and eventually moved back after I was done school, and then I actually went and lived in my car for a while, and drove around the country and just freelanced off of my mobile hotspot and like a laptop. That was pretty crazy, and that was for a while.
I was gonna say, how long were you doing that for?
I want to say it was like half a year or so, of just, so I had an old RAV4 Slacker. Kopps' Slacker was actually, and all my Slacker's a really close friend of mine from college as well, so all my Boston stories he's probably involved in.
He was also former guest on here too, episode 10. If you didn't watch it, it's on the channel, it's on YouTube. Also subscribe to his channel too. Slacker stuff. It's a real good game.
If you didn't watch it, then man, you gotta you've got to get to watching it, because that man is amazing.
He's riding in the shag wagon.
Yeah, no, it was this old Rav4.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he had driven it. He had definitely been a passenger in it once before. I actually bought it when we were still living in like Austin, but right before we graduated.
Mhm.
Um, but I took out all the seats besides the driver's seat, basically, and like literally just took them and put them in like in the back shed or whatever,
Mhm.
and then like set up a bed on one side, and then set up like all my clothes and like some food and like I actually even I put like I think I had a TV in there, and then CCBBM on my he was my first visit as I was leaving. I went to his place in Rhode Island
Mhm.
and stayed there for just like a night or two, and he gave me his old Xbox One because Monster Hunter World was dropping. I remember, and we were just like, oh, we gotta, like I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan.
Mhm.
Like we played since I was like a freshman in high school.
Mhm.
I played all the games.
So you're playing online on
So
your hotspot?
yeah, exactly. So I'd
That's
boot up
so
the
funny.
hotspot, and then I'd get like I'd get a camping site, like if I were ever to go to like a park
Yeah,
that had electricity, plug it all in. Then from the back of my car, I would play Monster Hunter World when that dropped.
it's amazing.
Yeah, and then I'd have them on the like Xbox party, like on my phone too.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Also,
it's crazy what you can do like out of your car these days. You can pretty much like self-sustain and even game and everything.
yeah, I just remember going on. I mean, I never. Well, I'm gonna say because back in the day when like my family and I we'd go on like road trips to see like family in like the southern states and stuff. I remember one time like my dad he got one of those like CRTs with like the VHS tape things
Oh
that
yeah.
he like strapped to like in between the two seats. And I brought my PS1, played through Chrono Cross on the trip, and
Wow.
yeah, I mean because that was like a pretty long trip, so it was between like going down and coming back, I basically beat the game. So
Dude, when anyone says CRT, I think the same thing. I immediately think of Smash Brothers Melee. Um, yeah, no, it was always like, especially on trips like that when you were younger, as someone who is always car sick or like had terrible vertigo whenever he tried to look at anything, like or read anything or try to play anything. Like it was so hard because you wanted to play video games so bad, but it would make me so sick. Like it would make me so nauseous and sweaty, but I couldn't not play video games,
Mhm.
So like I would play for like 20 minutes right before till I was like on the cusp of vomiting everywhere. And then I would just like put it down. I would have to like close my eyes and like just look out the window and like hang my head out the window, and then I would come back in, play a little bit until it got to be so bad again, and then so I definitely had those times. I mean, I still actually have mine, but I had the GameCube with the like flip up screen.
wow, that's sick.
Yeah, yeah. It was like it plugged into the GameCube, like, and it basically just had its own little screen.
Mhm.
I actually had it in the Rav4 for a while.
Mhm.
It was like so, especially with all the homies like after college.
Mhm.
It was just I wanted to make like the coolest like just random old used car that I had. So I had like the Hula Girl, the Shag like steering wheel, like I put the GameCube with the screen in the middle so people in the back could like, and I had all the GameCube controllers hooked up
Mhm.
so they could like, and it plugged right into the cigarette lighter so they could jump in the back and play GameCube while I was driving. And it was such a goofy. It had stickers like everywhere, like on the car.
I mean,
I love that thing.
I mean, it's a good thing the GameCube's a portable console, right? Because it's got that sweet handle.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was so clutch. The yeah, unfortunately, like the car, yeah, had a DBZ like man, because I've been driving standard since I like left college, and I had a DBZ like stick shift, like Dragon Ball.
Mhm.
Oh man, those were the days.
I did actually like notice out on your Instagram. I was gonna ask you about the like do you still have that in your car or not anymore?
Ah, I wish, but no. I mean, the car I drive now is much nicer, but that thing has that thing had the memories. It had the soul, but no, I drive like a 2018 STI now,
Oh, okay.
WRX. And it has like a really sleek hand. Like I thought about like replacing it for the Dragon Ball, but it didn't vibe with the car. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just seemed very forced. I was like, I won't change it.
That's fine.
But no, unfortunately, that car, that Rav that I was driving, like, yeah, it barely made it. Like, finally, when I came back home, there were a couple sketchy moments while I was living out of it, where I needed to do some on-the-fly repairs. And so I knew, I was like, when I got back, I was like, all right, I know that I need to just scrap this thing, and then looked like when I get a permanent job afterwards, like just start to get a new whip.
Nice. And yeah, Rassel, welcome in. B, Darren, good to see you as always. And more consoles need the handle, exactly.
Oh yeah, everything needs the handles.
Why doesn't the PS5 have a handle? Think about it.
Good luck trying to try to move that thing around. It's so the handle would look so good on the Xbox, in the new Xbox.
Oh yeah,
Just a big
exactly.
old block. You put that on the side. It looks like you basically have like a lunchbox.
Even over the top.
Yeah, over the top. You could fit that. I mean, it'd be weirder on the PS5, but
yeah.
Yeah,
it makes too much sense, man. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. The Nintendo just ahead of their time with the handles on the consoles.
Gaming visual weapon, so much leverage on that swing.
That was the best. That's why I had it when I was living in my car across country. It was purely as a defense mechanism. You know, like there are plenty of times where I'm in some Walmart parking lot in like a random city or town, and you have people walking by, and you just have to, grab onto that handle and know that anyone tries to, break in, it's one and done. Basically, that thing was so cumbersome.
If you don't want anyone to mess with you too, just open the lid and it's a copy of Killer 7 inside. They know not to mess with you.
Exactly. And then they see the copy of Killer 7. They're like, "You're playing those games, man? I don't want to dream of what you could do to me." It's just the notoriety of the game alone that backed them off, and they say, "Okay. Pretty sure that game is banned in like Europe or something."
Yeah. And so, so you said you lived in your car. You went around for a little bit. Eventually, you made your way to the West Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what ultimately led you to? What was it, Seattle? Was that where you were?
Or no, it was in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, okay, I knew it was Washington State.
Actually, it was just that. So, I actually moved back home after going there for so long, and basically worked for a while. Kind of still had that like traveling itch, like the itch to kind of just get out and like experience more things. Because I mean, like I said, New Hampshire, born and raised. I'm a pretty small town guy. Like, wanted to feel like I lived in Boston for a while, but that's 35 minutes from my house, in New Hampshire. So I was still kind of had that urge to go out there and just kind of like, be in a totally different part of the country. And so it got hit with that wave. And basically Maurice, of cabin fame, was getting his grad degree at Gonzaga. And so he was heading out there by himself, and I was kind of just like doing nothing in New Hampshire besides just kind of hanging out. So I was kind of just like, "Hey, Maurice, like you need someone to come out there with you." And he was like, "Honestly, yeah, like I don't know anybody out there. Like I would love to get at least somebody I know out there with me."
That's cool.
So it was kind of just like, "Sure, I'll go out there like and see what's up." So it was kind of unfortunate that we moved out there. Then 3 or 4 months later, Corona happened. So we kind of just got stuck inside the whole time. But it was great for streaming because that's when I started up the cabin and got everything going with that. But at the same time, it became pretty isolating that way, just because it was like we moved to this completely new place away from all of my family, all my friends, everything. And now it's like we can't even meet new people because this crazy pandemic just hit, and now we're kind of just stuck inside, like hanging with each other. Which I love Maurice to death. Don't get me wrong, but we were hoping to make a couple new friends while we were out there.
Yeah, and that's what ultimately led you to moving back home.
Yep. Yeah. Basically, like that was ending, and I think we're all finding ourselves in kind of like weird mental spaces, and it was kind of the acknowledgement that, man, like especially in this time of my life, like with all this craziness going on and all this uncertainty, like how important your like what's the word I'm looking for? Your support systems are, and like your that sort of thing, and how much sometimes you need the people like who really love you around, like in close proximity to you, and not just like on the phone every now and again. Especially like all of my close friends who are still around here in New Hampshire, and like my my family, we're all pretty close around here in New Hampshire. So I was kind of just like, man, I was talking to Maurice, and I was like, also, I mean, like, I was doing some freelance stuff out there, but the job market had completely like saturated because was completely just dried up because of Corona on top of everything else. So it was kind of like funds are looking sketchy as well. I'm kind of just I need to I need that support system again. So no, I love you, Maurice, and he didn't take it any personally at all, and I ended up just coming back to New Hampshire and kind of just went back to my old hometown or my old childhood bedroom here.
Yeah,
this beautiful square.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to, when ultimately making the jump like so far from family stuff. I mean, I was like this close to making that jump myself like 4 years ago. My buddy who actually lives with me now, he just moved in like a couple weeks ago. He used to live out in LA, and I was actually contemplating, like, when I was in between jobs, I was like, I don't know. I mean, that might be a cool idea. Just different change, change of scenery, and just something.
LA is beautiful.
Yeah. Like I took a trip out there anyway, just to see like how it is and stuff. And dude, it was like perfect weather every day. It was. I loved it out there.
Yeah, I've been to Cali a few times, and I'm always so jealous of like that perfect weather. And I mean, Slacker is even from LA, and Maurice and Slacker coincidentally are from LA. And it's like, I mean, I would love to live there eventually, or at least live there for a couple of years and just kind of experience it all. We've talked about it, but until the finances are in order again, it's on the back burner.
Right. But yeah, then like ultimately, like I ended up just playing it safe, and I had an interview like right before I went, and I was like, once I went up there, or once I went out to hang out with my bud, I was just like, I think I'm just gonna, for now, I'm just gonna play it safe. Like I don't want to be too far from the family right now, and just see how that goes. And funny enough, that job that I took, I only worked there for like 6 months, just because like the commute was like brutal, because it was in Foxborough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
oh man,
I did that for like 6 months, and then eventually got brought into the spot I'm at now part time. Like I was doing that like for just to make extra cash, because my old buddy that used to work there, he hit me up. He's like, dude, we're in like an art crisis right now. Like we need help big time. So yeah, and then eventually I got asked if I want to work full time, and luckily, because the spot is literally like, because I was still at home at the time, and that was only like 10 minutes off the highway, as opposed to like an hour drive. So I was like, all right, that's a no-brainer. And where I live now is literally like 7 minutes down the road, no highway. It's like,
wow.
but just being remote now anyway. Now it's like
none of it matters.
Yeah, anyway. But it is what it is. But yeah,
definitely. And playing it safe is good. Like, as great as it was to experience all that, playing it safe is totally like viable as well. And like you're gonna be especially if you have you're carrying loans with you, or like any of that stuff, your finances are gonna be much better off, down the line with trying to chip away at any of that stuff and get it all figured out early. Because Lord knows I'm paying like my loans for the next, until I die probably. I think I will literally die with my loans, and then finally, I'm pretty sure there's like the clause in there that says if they die, then the loans are forgiven. So I will that'll be my last. I'll like disintegrate, and all the loan people will gather around and be like, it's over. Like he can finally move on.
Dude,
the burden of the loans.
I will say that was a huge weight off the shoulders. Finally, like getting rid of that. It was just.
I'm so jealous. I'm never gonna leave. Like the weight's never gonna leave me. It's as great as an opportunity was to go to Emerson. Yeah, they don't. It's not like they don't really help out as far as like any sort of aid goes, and it's just so. And it is cool also because you get to go to school with a lot of cool like names too. Like Larry David's daughter was in some of my classes, and Sofia Vergara's like son, and Liam Neeson's daughter. I got to meet Liam Neeson because he was he toured my room.
That's
yeah. So it's cool. Like all the people you meet are really cool too. But it's like, I mean, now I'm not gonna be paying loans until I literally die of dysentery or whatever.
hopefully that won't be the case, and you'll be able to just chip away at that and get rid of it sooner than later.
Yeah, exactly. Or the cabin becomes $1 million machine, and we just ride that all the way to the bank.
Or just hit the Powerball, man. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. I saw some guy, like, there was a story about some guy who literally would just buy, like, the same numbers or something. It was like, he just won, I think, like, $800,000, and he would just, it was something like he bought, like, a row of like, 160 different, it was 160 consecutive numbers, and he did it, like, every month. The absolute hoops that people have to jump through to try and to get that.
Michael, Jason,
I don't know,
welcome.
man.
Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you popping in for this interview with our bud CampTheBoy here.
Michael Jason. Wow.
But yeah, so outside of that, growing up in New England, do you have any before we move on, any like particular like favorite spots like through New England that always stick out to you, that you always like would go to like during the summers, like, or just like what are some of your favorite like locations you like to go to? Maybe Newport, maybe, like what?
Yeah. The like, I think I have favorite spots like, oh,
Lost you. We lost your video.
oh, see you guys later.
Technical
so weird.
difficulties.
Let me unplug and replug in the mic.
All right.
That's never happened before. Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
there we
You're
go.
back.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Yeah.
But I actually saw it on Discord. It was like a weird green screen and then cut out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it has something to do with us talking about New England, but I have like some favorite spots in like every state basically that we'd go to. Like, I mean, in New Hampshire, like, I mean, all the beaches like close by are amazing, whether it's Hampton or Salisbury or whatever. Newburyport is amazing, like in the summertime. And then, or even going up to like the White Mountains, like, is a classic as well. Like, I mean, there's just so much to do, and it's all like nature around here. Burlington, Vermont, like if you keep going up 93 and eventually cross over the border, beautiful place.
That's my go-to spot in New England. I love Burlington.
Burlington?
Yes.
Oh my god, it's so nice, dude.
Dude,
It's like
all,
right on
all
the
the breweries
water,
around
like
there.
that
Yeah,
huge-
just beautiful scenery. Like it's so
Yeah.
nice, man.
They like amazing culture, like very artistic like culture too there. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
So in there, that's probably, I mean, same thing with Portsmouth in New Hampshire, kind of similar feel. If you ever need a like kind of not travel as far, Portsmouth is an amazing city in New Hampshire that's like that, and really close to Maine as well. And then going down like into like Mass, I mean, Boston has always been my go-to place. Like especially going to living there for a couple of years, going to school, and then a couple of years afterwards. Like, I mean, we lived in like Alston and Brighton for a while, and then I went to school downtown. So I'm like, I love going back there and like going to the public gardens and to Boston Common again and seeing all that. I mean, and then we moved to the North End, so going over there and going back on Hanover Street and like, I mean, it's the North End is they go crazy sometimes. Like you don't know until you actually live there, but they like, well, they do all these like parades every like month and all these crazy street like festivals and everything. Like sometimes you went and they'd have like these marching bands just going up and down. Like it was just a regular Tuesday. Next thing you know, some marching band like walks by your house and you're like, what? How is right now a time of celebration? It's like a Tuesday in like March. But the marching bands are out and they are marching in March.
Very nice.
But yeah, so and then going down to Rhode Island, it was like, I mean, I'd always just kind of end up going into Providence or into like, I mean, I have my homies have always been in Warwick and at Smithfield. Like I have one of our close, Slacker and I's close homies grew up in Smithfield.
Nice.
So going over there and then we, jump into Providence and go downtown or whatever. So it's all in every state. There's something new that I grew up upstate New York City, or upstate New York State, like on the St. Lawrence River. It's like the river that splits New York and Canada. We know some the people who know some locations in Rhode
Mhm.
Island. It seems like, but up there, up in upstate New York, there's it's like this river that splits Canada and the U.S. called the St. Lawrence River, and my grandma and papa, they lived on an island there. It wasn't like a bougie island, like it was just kind of like kind of a smaller house
Mhm.
on this island, but it was like in the middle of this huge channel, and you'd have to take a boat and to get there, and then you'd park in the boathouse, and like you need it was like 35 miles to the nearest supermarket, so
Mm.
you take a boat to the mainland, and then you have to drive to that town like through all this cow country. But that's probably, I mean, that was one of the best memories growing up in on that island, and it was just called the island, but it's called Linda Island, and just like going on the boat and doing all that stuff was so cool.
Very nice. Low-key, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Low key morning. It's like, what is it like? It's like 1 a.m. where he is now.
Technically morning.
I
Technically.
guess so. I mean, that is a good like question to pose. Is like, do you say good morning to someone if like say you two have been partying
Mhm.
and it's like 12:30, like after midnight.
Mhm.
Do you now say good morning to that person? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't, but out of technicality, maybe.
because it's 12:30 a.m.
True. Yeah.
I feel like it's because I feel like there's like I don't know, maybe it's like it depends if you've gone to sleep. I feel like
Feels like a personal preference, exactly. Yeah. Because
yeah,
'cause I feel like for me personally, I would go like up through like what 4 a.m. maybe.
yeah.
I feel like that's like the cut, or even 5 a.m. Once 5 a.m. hits, that's morning.
Oh yeah, definitely. That like you can't tell me like what is it? Good afternoon at 5 a.m. or whatever. Good evening.
I
But
feel, I
yeah.
feel like you're more restricted with afternoon as opposed to evening, though.
Exactly. No, yeah, maybe just because if I like go to sleep and then I wake up at like 3 a.m., then I'll probably say good morning to someone. But if I haven't slept and like I'm up at 3 a.m., like or for whatever reason, I'll probably still refer to it as like nighttime or like evening.
Oh, one good morning, exactly.
Loki's
Just-
hyped on the Mandalorian.
Dude, Mando is so good, dude. Finale tomorrow.
Wait, the finale's tomorrow?
Yes,
Oh man, that show has flown by.
I know. Oh, I mean, only 8 episodes a season, but
Yeah.
this has been another good one, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what got me like on the cabin. We're playing Jedi Fallen Order right
Mhm.
now, and I can 100% attribute it to Mandalorian
Mhm.
because I just like been craving to play a good Star Wars game after watching those episodes and being like, oh, I love this universe. I just need to play some Star Wars. So they got me. Then they hit me with the Steam sale like right after that. They're like, oh yeah, you like the Mandalorian? Well, here's Star Wars Steam sale. Everything is like, 80% off.
I love
So-
that. I love that with Jedi Fallen Order. That's technically canon too. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be interested to see like how that could possibly play into maybe one of these new series that they just announced or whatever. Yeah, so that'll be curious to check out. And how far are you in the game?
Man, let me think.
Because once you beat the game, we have to talk.
Okay. Definitely haven't beat it. I just got the the pole ability. So
Okay.
I left the planet where you get the pole ability, like when you can like pull like vines to you to swing on and everything. And I went to the we had to backtrack to a planet. Oh yeah, it was back on, I think it was Kashyyyk, like where with the like something they had come down and like destroyed like some of the rebel place,
Hmm.
and then you had to go in further to investigate.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm about to meet with somebody. I can't remember his name, but they're like, oh yeah, he wants to meet with you.
Hmm.
And so
Cool.
that's where I'm at right now. But I've heard some like weird. Yeah, I heard like a weird rumor that like maybe Cal would show up in Mando, or if he could show up somewhere. So at that point, I was like, okay, I need to play this just to know what everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I think if he shows up in Mando, because I think it technically takes place like 20 to like 40 years. I think like 40 years after. Well, it's 20 years after the original trilogy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know it's a specific amount of time after.
Yeah.
But so they'll have to like put like the dots on that actor and make him look a lot older, but and until eventually he
True.
grows into the role.
Yeah, and then it'll just be that old.
Yeah, but
No, it looks so, and I love all the little Easter eggs in there too for all the fans. Like I mean, I'm a completionist kind of gamer, so like no crevice goes unexplored from me. So
yeah,
like I just encountered it was like in one of the like old voice like things for Order 66. Like there was like this, they were trying to like find their Padawan, and then the clone trooper was like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll find it. We'll find them." And then, "Oh, what's this like message coming in? It's from like the like Supreme Chancellor or whatever." And then execute Order 66.
very nice. But you're
Yeah,
you're digging it pretty good though overall.
Yeah, I as someone who like, I mean, I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and so in the Souls game, like get in Monster Hunter, like so that sort of lock on, roll around, and like get in some jabs and come back is always fun gameplay. I never played any of the Uncharted, but I can definitely understand where that like similarity comes from, because just watching like people, I watched Sarah play Uncharted and watching a few people play it, like the sort of cutscene events that happen randomly, and then like the maneuvering around is definitely very similar. And honestly reminds me a lot of like, I played the old like Prince of Persia games like on like PS2 and stuff.
Dude, Sands of Time.
Sands of Time.
It's getting a remake. It's coming out March, I think.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I need to get a PlayStation. No, it reminds me of that because like all the wall running in that and all like the scaling in that is kind of what harkens. I mean, you can't replay time or rewind time like in that, but I mean, it was so like it definitely reminds me of that with how you're like running across walls and grabbing onto ledges and shuffling around.
And yeah, it's a remake, Deadpan. Yeah, definitely.
Is it starring? Was it like Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever who was the movie?
In the movie, dude, I still need to watch that movie. Like, I want to give.
I didn't watch it either.
I heard a lot of bad things about it, but I want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm a huge Jake Gyllenhaal fan, so like, you know, you hope that maybe he'd be able to at least read a script before he takes it and say like, oh, this is decent.
Yeah, so we're
Donnie Darko.
Yeah. So we talked about you know, what you're currently playing, like what games you grow up with. I know you mentioned Melee. You're a big Smash guy.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, GameCube is my is definitely my console and my forte. Like I've made it's a perfect blend of nostalgia and also the fact that I think that like those games are just so solid for like the time that I could like, I wish I could just play every single GameCube game on the cabin.
Yeah.
And just live as a GameCube streamer. But yeah, as a kid, it was all like, I mean, it was like Melee. I still play to this very day with Project Slippy and like have a ton of fun with that and follow that community. But I mean, the list goes on to all the Smash games that, or not all Smash, all the GameCube games that I would play, from all the Mario games. I mean, as far as like other games outside of GameCube, like I remember Halo 2 and Fable were my big Xbox games. I remember when I would play those. Metroid Prime for sure.
Metroid Prime definitely.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, like Mario Strikers was the most heated like competitive game that all of us would play like when we have all our friends over. And Mario Golf. I'm not even a huge golf game fan, but they made golf like fun.
Dude, all their sports games are fantastic.
Yeah, Mario Baseball, like amazing. So good. But I actually, I never played Master Quest, and I just had beat that Ocarina of Time on because they released that for the GameCube, and that was a ton of fun.
Dude, I had a real good time playing that earlier this year too. Dude, the one dungeon that always sticks out to me now is Jabu Jabu, with just all the cows inside that you have to like hit with a slingshot.
What is that? How does that make any sense whatsoever?
It doesn't.
Hey, Pixel,
thank you so much for the 8-month sub. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Enjoy with that sub. Enjoy your continued use of those Emperor's New Groove themed emotes, the Raging Cop emote, all the other benefits that
Pixel's
come with that sub.
Pixel's amazing. Pixel's like the good luck charm at the cabin. Like they'll come in right always during a finale, and Pixel will be like the embodiment of the finale. It'll be the symbol of like, okay, this is a true finale because Pixel's arrived.
No, she's awesome for sure. I mean, I could say that about everybody. B, Jordo, Deadpan, Robbie, all the friends.
B, we still got to play some Melee. But I mean, yeah, like Halo 2 and Fable were my two big like Xbox games. I remember I played like, I mean, when Xbox Live came out, Halo so even before Xbox Live came out, I would just play Halo 2 by myself and would just like, I got to the point where I would play it on Legendary and just like be able to beat the whole thing, like, and like find out all the glitches to skip like levels and everything. But I wouldn't look online like on the guides either. You just like find it yourself and just like search around everywhere. And then Fable, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many times I replayed the original Fable like on Xbox. It was like absolutely crazy. But yeah, just to find different ways to get totally overpowered in that game and do everything, like,
I mean, it was like,
so cool.
I remember that being like one of the first games that I remember seeing that like let you like take your own path, like be like a hero or like just massacre everyone and be the villain, you know?
Yep. Get the devil horns or like the Halo.
Yeah, my cousin showed me that game, and it was actually like him that like was like this close to convincing me to get an Xbox. I never had one. Actually, funny enough, I have an OG Xbox now, even though I don't have the cables for it. But so I'm like
there.
Yeah, like back in the day, he showed me Fable. I'm like, dude, this game looks so dope. And I don't know. I think I just couldn't, like, for how much Xbox was at the time. And I think it was like right at the end of the life cycle too. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to like dive in, because I think like Halo 2 had just come out and 360 was around the corner. And it's like, I don't know. So I just figured I'd wait because I really wanted to wait for like a PS3, even though that wait ended up being way longer because of wanted to wait for the price drop, because there's no way I was going to pay like $600 for that thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's absolutely crazy, like, to think how much that sort of software got charged like then compared to now. But I was a huge playing like my Game Boy Advance SP and everything, like that was huge for me. I was a huge gamer on that, like going, and that thing took a beating too when I had it. Some of those games, they get me a little heated, especially on the Game Boy Advance SP. So that thing was scratched up by the time that I ended up retiring it. But all the old Pokemon games and like any sort of like all the old Mega Man Battle Network games,
nice,
like, so good. But overall, I'm definitely much more of a retro gamer than a new school gamer.
Me too.
I will play the occasional new game on the cabin, but mostly it's retro.
Yeah. Speaking of GBA, I'm actually playing. Did you play Earthbound at all?
Oh yeah, and Mother 3.
Yeah, so I'm actually playing Mother 3 right now. I have it's a fan translated card of it, so it's cool to be able to experience a game that we never technically got, even though I guess there's like rumors that we might actually get it. But I mean, I think Reggie just wants that weight off his shoulders of people asking him.
Exactly, like literally they've been asking for so long for it. Battle Network, my childhood. Walking Deadpan, so good. I was missing it, so I was like, I'd gone to Nashville like for Thanksgiving, and I ended up getting like a Battle Network emulate, like a ROM on my phone, so I could play the first Battle Network like on the plane.
That's awesome.
I got that, and then I got like a ROM of it was Backyard Baseball, like 2001.
Oh my god.
And it was so like, it was pretty rough, but at the same time it was pretty hilarious to play. I had like my friend next to me, so we would like take turns batting, and it was so ridiculous.
That's fun. So funny. Through the years of all those games that you played, were there any particular like moments from a game that you any game that you beat or that you played that like just really like stands out to you, like amongst like anything else?
Yeah. That's a good question. One that I can really like remember back to. Hmm. I remember I can actually remember the first ever time I stayed up like late for like gaming hours late, like 3 a.m.
Hmm.
Um, was playing like I remember playing Paper Mario like on the N64, like, or actually no, wasn't even playing. I went to my dad's house and I was watching him play Paper Mario.
Hmm.
And I remember it was like it was the ice level. It was like the level where you it's like I'm pretty sure there's like the murder mystery that you go around town,
Hmm.
and eventually like you work your way out of the town, and then you have to climb up this big like mountain, and you have to fight this like little ice king guy. But I remember watching that when I was a young kid, and it was the first time I'd ever stayed up till like 3 a.m. and watching my dad play that.
That's awesome.
And that's always, for whatever reason, stuck with me as like, man, because I remember seeing it, I was like, wow, I stayed up this late. I feel so good. Like, I remember, I mean, in Fable, like I remember I had played like I had the lost chapters or whatever. So I remember like thinking the game had ended, and then it brings you to a whole different continent, and it continues, and like there's a whole different story. So I remember that leaving an impression on me when I was a kid. Um, Twilight Princess left a pretty huge impression on me, like playing that. I mean, I had that on the Wii.
Hmm. Oh, you didn't have it on GameCube? You got the Wii version?
No. Yeah, I got Wii. I actually got Wii like the Christmas it dropped. Like, and that totally, shout out to my mom. I remember her telling me that, like, she had just gotten so lucky, and I think she actually ended up like breaking down like in Best Buy because she was so happy that she was able to get it,
Oh
because
my
they had
God.
like, I think someone had like returned one because the mom and the dad had both gotten one. And so
Oh,
she had just so happened to come in at the perfect time. And they were like,
wow.
"Oh, we have an extra Wii just here," like even though they're sold out everywhere. So she like ended up like crying in front of the person to be able to get it for me.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, and I think I got Twilight Princess and like Wii Sports that came with that, and both were absolute bangers. Like I
Well,
played so much Wii Sports.
I'll never forget, like, yeah, the Wii and the PS3, like that holiday season were like the most thrifted, like the most like resold system like ever, like on eBay, like going for like thousands of dollars, like just absolutely insane. And it's definitely like the same case now with PS5 and Series X right now. Just the demand, especially PS5, like there's that dude on Twitter, Wario64, that he'll post
Yep.
the like he posts gaming deals all the time, and dude, he's getting like absolutely like harassed by like so many folks that are just like, yo, where's the PS5 stuff? And it's like, dude, like chill. Like
He's doing his best.
yeah, like he has it, and they give him shit for posting like other stuff that's not PS5. Is like, I mean, that, like, I'm still curious, like the other stuff, because he'll post like some deals, like he posted this game Sayonara Wild Hearts. My buddy Shane
Yep.
played on his channel, and it was like $8.
Yeah,
I was like,
JV.
it's like,
People love that game.
um, it's like, yo, $8. I'll take that. Like, that's why I follow you. So,
Exactly. Re-release lines. Luckily I never had to deal with it. I was just a young kid who got his mom. His mom was the one who did all the legwork for him, so I just got to reap the reward and then play it. Oh man, I love the Wii though. That thing was so. Although it was tough because I still have my Wii to this very day, like the original one that I got.
Oh damn.
But I was about to take it out, then I realized it was plugged in and I was like, I don't want to do that. But it's because I like ended up hacking it, and like now I was using it for all the GameCube emulator stuff. But
Nice.
like it's absolutely insane. I tried for a while to put my hat in the ring with the PS5, and as someone who didn't realize how much he'd want it because how good Demon Souls looked, and as a huge Dark Souls fan, like, and who missed out on the original like remastered of Demon Souls, and the original Demon Souls even, because I didn't even have a PS3 or whatever. I've wanted to play it so bad. So since release for the last like month and like a week, I've tried, and I only just like last week came to terms with the fact that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop trying, and I'm just gonna wait until the new year, and then I'll get it, and I'll just live vicariously through everybody.
Right. Yeah, Jordo in the chat. I remember him telling us the story of how he was literally the person before the last person that got a system.
Wow.
That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, I actually got really lucky with the Switch. I went to like the Switch release on the day of, and me and my like good buddy went to a Target, and luckily we were like the first ones there, so we rushed in and like posted up. It was during like a snowstorm too. I don't know why they don't do this. So they had us all waiting. We all waited there for hours and hours and hours until they eventually opened up the store, and the person comes out after there's a line literally wrapping around the Target, and they say, "We have 2 systems." Or no, it wasn't 2. It was like 4 or something like that. So basically, it was like me and my buddy, and then the 2 people behind us. And I was like, "What's stopping you guys from just telling the entire line that like way before? Like, why can't you just literally the day before say, hey, we have like 4 systems or whatever? Like, you know, if you're here, you're here. Like, and then that way, if you see 4 people in line, you know, you don't have to stand out here in a snowstorm for 3 hours, and then when you were number 115, realize that you had no chance whatsoever of coming close."
I feel like with like PS4, it was like because I feel like that with the demand with that, like they were able to fulfill like way more. Like I feel like with now, I mean, obviously like with the the unfortunate circumstance of the world right now, so Sony and Microsoft, they definitely, I'm sure they dealt with shortages this holiday season, but like I remember with PS4, like I didn't really think that was like that difficult to get, because like they were like well prepared, and just like pre-orders through like Amazon or just like online in general like weren't even like that hard if you really wanted one. And even I remember my my buddy, he went like midnight the day it released, and I went with him. I didn't buy it that day, but yeah, they had like a ton there, so it was like so it was just like but it's funny, back then how like there were shortages, and then they learned from that, and then just I feel like if we weren't in the situation we were in now, like it wouldn't be like people like going like absolutely insane trying to get one right now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and but honestly, like I don't know, I almost never get a system at launch. The only system at launch I ever got was the 3DS, and
really,
yeah, and actually I was kind of glad I did that too, because even though I paid way too much, because it was like what $250 like at launch, but and then they dropped the price like a few months later, and then they were like, all right, everyone that was like a first buyer, we're gonna give you all these GBA, all these NES games.
What?
Yeah, it was like 20. It was like 20 free games or something like that. That you only got because you were an ambassador, and I still have it on my 3DS now. So I have
so cool.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of GBA games that they only gave to them, and they never made available like on that system. So it was pretty interesting. But I feel like for like home consoles and stuff, because I feel like with a lot of those, they generally have like more issues with them anyway. So especially at launch, like you might get like end up with an unfortunate circumstance of a brick system or something like that.
Yeah, the red rings of death for the 360.
Yeah, and then plus like, I mean, granted with PS5, like luckily you had like Spider-Man, you had Demon's Souls, so you had like a couple of killer apps like right off the rip. Even though with like Spider-Man, that's also on PS4, so. But yeah, it's I don't know, but I still feel like cause I don't even have a Switch right now. I feel like if you don't need it like right away, especially if you have like a lot of games, like for me, like that's why I held off on the Switch, because I have like this whole freaking thing right here of just games. So I'm like, all right, I need to at least get through some of those before I upgrade. But
yeah, definitely. And I mean, especially for the Switch, it's just like kind of a handful of like exclusives that Mario and Zelda and everything that you play, but for the most part, like, I mean, it's not like you're missing out crazy like a lot with it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally missed out on. I haven't had a PlayStation since PS2, and especially with this last generation, like of God of War, The Last of Us, Spider-Man. Like, I mean, I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, like I said. So Bloodborne, like, I think Ghost of Tsushima was also exclusive. So many like generational exclusives that I've missed out on, that I was like, all right, I need to get a PS5 and I'll play them all. but no dice. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna back off. I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna do the Walmart, refresh at like the exact time and then get totally wrecked. I did get lucky one time. It was when Kohl's like put them available, and I actually was one of the people who was able to snag a bundle when Kohl's put it available, and I was like, oh, nice. Like it seems way too good to be true because it's Kohl's, and how the heck would they have any PlayStations whatsoever?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I've been inside of a Kohl's before.
Me neither.
Yeah, but and there's no way that they have like as many PlayStation consoles as they would as seemed like they had. And of course, I get the email like they like a couple days later saying, "Oh, sorry, we have to cancel your order."
We oversold, yeah.
Yeah, we oversold big time. But they had like a deal going on where like you got $15 in Kohl's cash or something like that for every like $50 you spent. So since I spent like $600 or $700 or whatever it was for the bundle, I ended up getting like $180 of Kohl's cash that they let me keep.
Oh, dope.
So my birthday's in December, and I was, Christmas was coming up, and I was like, perfect, just a free, all because I tried to get a PlayStation. I got a free $180 I went on their website, got some new sunglasses, got some new shoes.
Hell yeah.
That was a good, I was like, you know what? I'll fold here. I'll say, hey, I don't need a PS5 anymore. I got this nice little deal, free $180, and now I'll wait until the new year, 2021 takes over.
Hey, when's your B-Day?
December 4th.
Oh, happy belated birthday. You're literally 4 days before mine.
Yeah. It's we did last on for 2019 we did like a birthday stream, but this year I was I decided to do it. I laid low and just saw some friends, and of course safely, but we did it more that way this year, just out of the need to.
Cool. Jordo, if you don't get a Wii on release, how are you supposed to play the masterpiece known as Red Steel as soon as possible?
Red Steel was it was like the sword game, wasn't it? Like
it was a sword and gun game.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Dude, that game was so overhyped, and then I think the reviews just like tore it apart.
Yep, as is tradition.
But apparently the second one was really good because you used the Motion Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never picked those games up. The best games, this is my whole Wii shelf right here. You see all this white on the shelf?
Yep.
No More Heroes 1 and 2. Those were my absolute favorites on that.
I missed Travis Touchdown. I'd missed all of those, and I still need to play them because they've always been pretty well reviewed. And it's Capcom, right? Like
no, Suda 51.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
They've always seemed really cool, and I always like the style of them, and it seems like they're still releasing new kind of referential content and everything. And so I definitely want to go back. Maybe we'll play No More Heroes at the cabin soon.
They're both on Switch now.
Yeah. Oh, they're on Switch?
Yeah, because 3's coming out, and they just ported the HD versions of them. So definitely recommend.
They're hard to emulate. Like Wii games are tough to emulate because it's you need motion. You still need a motion sensor and and a Wiimote and everything. So it's what's the point even at that time?
When you play on Switch, though, you have to play with the motions though, because that made that experience way better. Because your finishing move is just the slice or whatever. Yeah, because that's
Travis Strikes Again. Yeah, that's another one in the series, right?
Yep. I never played that one. I'm curious though. I know they ported that to PS4 too and stuff, so I could at some point. I think Suda made since the original No More Heroes. Yeah, I'll check it out, Deadpan.
Yeah, no, that's what the Motion Plus. Basically, the only thing I ever used it for was Skyward Sword.
Yep, the one you you had to use.
Yeah.
You required, yeah.
Yeah, I never really got that, but because it was just to move the sword around, and it seems so ridiculous, But no, I think that game got done a little dirty by reviewers and everything when it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no.
The stamina was kind of annoying, but
at least you could run in that game.
Yeah, exactly. You had to run, and they had ways to collect stamina and everything. But I remember enjoying it. I played it through a few times.
Yeah, it was fine, but probably probably near the bottom for tiering the Zelda games, but
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. But let's talk about your channel and stuff. Now we were talking about just like games in general, games you grew up with and stuff. So you started. It was like middle to end of last year, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was October. I think it was early November to late October of 2019.
Nice, man. And I ended up meeting you through the COD community, started by our bud our bud Mike.
Yeah, Father Pope.
Yep, the Pope himself.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, a real good guy. Actually, I met him on Twitter, and so he was a streamer, and I mean, I don't know, there was a good chunk of time, like, because I was on the platform for like a long time, and I never really, I mean, I mentioned on here a bunch, but I never quite got like the importance of community and stuff. Like as silly as that sounds. Then just after talking with my buddy Mega Gremlin, like he gave me some good advice, and then I just would go out of my way. I'd look for newer channels and look for other folks, and then met some of my buds on here, B, Millhouse, Jordo. I met all of them. Mega Gremlin, met a bunch of folks from his community. Then met Mike, Jane, and Hazy on Twitter, which eventually they started that Discord, and I was in there for a little bit, and then that was how I met you, and I noticed you were playing Banjo-Kazooie one time, and I loved Banjo back in the day. I don't have an N64 or an Xbox now, but I love that game, and it's like retro stuff. Like I'll check them out, and and back then, because you had you created this new character that you created.
Ed is around again. I don't know if you know this, but
he is.
Ed is back in the cabin. And so basically, I'll record for Ed. I set everything up for Ed at the cabin, like usually on Monday and Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we do like a lo-fi Wednesday, where it's kind of like I'll let Ed, go, like kind of hang out at the cabin by himself, and I just kind of take it from here in my room, and we'll just do a nice kind of no makeup, no maintenance, like a day at the cabin where I can just kind of press go live, and not have to worry about anything else. And so we'll do that on Wednesdays. So Ed has his days on Monday and Tuesdays where he gets to shine at the cabin.
Gotcha. Because you ultimately, like, because that was like the original, like what you went for with the channel, like under the Ed Campers brand. For a while, and I just found your channel to be incredibly is infectious the right word, or just you just had that like I mentioned earlier, you had that like really jolly like attitude that just felt like super welcoming, and just super nice to everyone in there. And then plus like just the theme of having the having the campground, having the camp, or the cabin, sorry, and just the way you had that all set up, and it was just incredibly entertaining, and I was like, all right, he's sold. He sold me.
Yeah.
And just always would have a blast just popping in whenever I could. But yeah, like just to explain like the whole process, starting on the channel, and starting just going with Ed Campers at first, and what
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so it was a mix of two different inspirations for like starting the channel and the cabin. It was like half of it was like the Mr. Rogers influence, which was like kind of looking like especially coming from college, like I said, doing sketch and doing improv, and still wanting to continue that, and like just loving to do characters and doing bits and comedy and everything. Like, so that are like already sort of had me like, all right, I want to do a show. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I would love to do it somehow. And then comes in like the Mr. Rogers influence of being, because it came to, I don't know, it just came into my mind of like how as someone who actually grew up with Mr. Rogers and like admired him, and I still go back and watch a few episodes every now and again and just find that guy so interesting. Like I like it was this idea of like, man, there's no one like him now. Like there's no one who's just like that overwhelmingly positive and jolly and just trying to like spread a good message like now. And like there's like has that sort of role model around. And so that like I mean I had a couple cardigans like lying around and a shirt and tie. And then on top of that, because it was like, okay, that's kind of a cool concept. I honestly had not really experienced any, like I wasn't deep into Twitch at all. Like basically a couple, maybe like half a year before that, CCBBM he was like, hey, you know who I think you'd really think was cool? Like I just kind of saw videos of him, and he shared me videos of Dr. Disrespect. And I don't know like how much you've watched him or whatever, but
I never really watched him. One of my buddies, he was like really big into him before, you know, everything.
yeah,
all that stuff happened, but
yeah, controversy or whatever. And but I mean, he was just pushing the limit with what you could do on Twitch, like regardless of like he like through all his different ways of like I mean, he won like streamer of the year like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever, and like just doing different scenes like and so he had made a character like this like the doc, and then he do it like all of a sudden he like you know would be in character and then you know go to the Champions Club and go to the arena, and I mean he's able to like walk into scenes, which was amazing. And I wish I could do that, but I don't have that sort of space. But like to see him doing that, I was like that it was like the missing piece to like what I wanted the show to be, which was like kind of just like that, like putting myself in like making it a show, like putting myself like in an environment, doing a character. And I was like, okay, I don't want to rip on the docs thing, like so like kind of doing the opposite, being like he's very like you know in your face, like you know like speed, violence, momentum, that kind of deal, like you know always yelling at everybody and being very over the top. So I was like, imagine this like soft spoke like Mr. Rogers, like imagine this very like loving, soft spoken, who's always trying to like you know teach lessons and be happy and sing songs and like improving songs on the spot, and then like having a very nice little cabin that everyone can go to and feel like family and feel you know like accepted and everything. So I could tell like how he just coming from like video from Emerson and everything, it was pretty obvious to me like how he was accomplishing it. So after like watching it, it kind of had all clicked of like, oh, okay, if I can set this up like and then get the character, like you know I ended up doing a little bit of a write-up on my own of just like trying to solidify who Ed was and like what I wanted Ed to be portrayed as. And so I ended up just doing that write-up, and then like when I moved to Spokane with Maurice, it became a really good opportunity because I was like, you know, I've got a lot of like cushion from my last big position. I'm in this new area with like a lot of free time. Why don't I just like send it, like because this is exactly what I would want to do, and what I've been missing. And so like buying a big green screen, putting it on the wall, and then I built my own computer, like because I was like, okay, if I want to make a gaming and streaming computer, so I ended up building one on my own, and then setting it all up, and then I had all my audio because I mean we haven't touched on it, but we both do like music, and I mean I love seeing you play guitar, and so I have all these extra mics, and I mean I play like you know all these different instruments, and even that helped going on stream, and because I mean music was always a huge like influence on Mr. Rogers' show. So I was like, I kind of want to bring that in a real, maybe a way more amateur like way, but like basically doing improv songs like on the spot for everybody every day. As Ed was always so goofy, like and then luckily I can work my way around I have a synth, so I can work my way around that most of the time and sing like words off the top of my head. So for a while we were going really hard with the music. Like I remember for the first like 50 followers or whatever, it was like if you followed, I would sing a song about you, you know. And so
that's awesome.
And that sort of like as we got enough followers, that sort of toned down because you know it gets hard to improv songs that much.
Be Wait, the cabin's a green
The
screen?
cabin's a green screen.
How
Well,
dare
no,
you?
the cabin is in Cabinlandia and its own thing. I'm talking hypothetically here. If the cabin, if someone were to replicate the cabin in a show, like, of course, all of that is real. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. Like, it's
It's there.
about I enter a portal like before we start the stream. I meet Ed at the cabin.
Mhm.
I set everything up because he doesn't know how to do any of this stuff. Like, that's where we had kind of just met at a random bar, like, and he kind of expressed this whole idea of a cabin in his way to get this out because he saw the same sort of need that I did of no Mr. Rogers, nothing. So I go into the cabin, I set all of my equipment up, and then he's able to do the show while I'm in the back, making sure that everything's good.
Sounds like that's the same way that I met Lucha Cops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just stay out of his way, and
Yeah.
he does his thing whenever he's summoned, and because I don't want to get that K-bot from the top rope, so
That's exactly. So you let them do their thing while they're on camera.
exactly.
But yeah, like hypothetically, if all this were to get set up, by one person and not two, and if there wasn't a cabin, then yeah, it would be green screen. Like, and I mean, all like the mics I'd gotten from doing music along the way, and like, luckily I had already, like, because I was doing recording and everything before that, so it was already kind of everything sort of got pieced together and mashed together, and it was like I can finally make this thing that just combines everything that I want to do, like from doing a character to like doing music to doing like comedy and also gaming, which I love doing as well. Like, so it's an ability to do all that together, and then also just like, I don't know, spread some positivity in an otherwise pretty negative or narcissistic time in history.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very like we live in a really strange time where there's not a lot of like just very positive role models out there, like, or someone who's, it's just kind of weird the time that we live in. So to try to be that person for people, it was like really cool to try to do, and like to try to be a person that just like is just there to build like a fan, like have everyone feel like they can be there and just be comfortable and feel like they're part of like a family and come home, like have a place that's kind of like a home, and have a person who is just there to try to spread positivity and love and like a good message, without any extra baggage, like any sort of like political or religious like ulterior motives or anything. Like, it's just purely just to do it. Like, was something that I really enjoyed, and like it was like kind of what I wanted to see. I was like, I would love to have like an Ed, like, and that I could like watch. So why not I try to provide that for a show?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you or touch on that, because I love that you're always like trying to promote positivity, just trying to make it like or make it like a positive experience on your channel, and just and yeah, just like you're just always showing like how important that is, because we're especially during this insane time of this year, like that we're all going through right now, and it just helps having something or things that can help us, just escape that reality for that moment, and the cabin is always a an example of a great spot that will always put you in a better mood, and that's especially what I love about your channel, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm no like stranger to like any of that either. Like, that's we ended up a lot of this year was pretty spotty for the channel, just because I was like between moving and going, like between the pandemic and then eventually having to move out of there and moving here, and then also just all the mental like just craziness that was going on in my own head. It became pretty tough to channel Ed, like like, because it was like, how can I? It would feel so disingenuous if I was in this emotional turmoil and then had to go, like, it became just a very dark, like, put on the cardigan, put on the tie, and then try and smile for the people when you were like struggling. And so like I kind of, the channel ended up going on taking a little hiatus, and then we ended up kind of like getting away from the cabin a little bit and just kind of doing my own thing. until I like eventually got comfortable enough to bring Ed back in more of a limited role, so he didn't get burned out on it too crazy much. Because that was another thing, just like having Ed for we were doing like 5 episodes a week of like 6 to 8 hours. It just gets tough, like to do that sort of improv for that long.
I just got to
And
interrupt
so
you
it
for.
just ended up getting.
I'm sorry, I just got to interrupt you for 1 sec. Nick, thank you so much for that sub. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Nick
Hope you're doing
Filet.
well.
Man, I could use some Nick Filet right now, and by that I mean Chick-fil-A.
He's a great cook. But
Ooh.
yeah. Thank you again for the sub. 2-month sub. Enjoy the use of those Emperor's New Groove themed emotes, the Raging Cop emote, all that stuff. And yeah, hope you've been well, man. Good to see ya.
Can I just say the waffle fries from Chick-fil-A, bar none, and the chocolate shakes from Chick-fil-A,
Mm-hmm.
bar none as well.
I've actually never had Chick-fil-A.
Ooh, it's weird. I never thought they'd have them around here, but there's one like a town over from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's very close.
There's one like literally right down the road from me, but like not even like two minutes past that is Five Guys. So it's like if I have to pick one or the other, and because I know how much you love your Five Guys.
Oh yeah, like don't even get me started.
How many times we like convince you just to buy it on your just to buy it while you were alive, you know?
Yeah, or like do a dono goal for like buying Five Guys tonight and then eating it. Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, I'm just a burger and fries like and shake sucker.
Mhm.
Like, and but it's tough as someone who's also lactose intolerant to like. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever truly, like renounce the dairy despite my intolerance.
Well, you just take something for that. So
Yeah, and it's hit or miss with it. Like
okay.
I have my lactose pills, but
Yeah.
it's like a 50-50. It's like a roll of the dice whether they help me or not. Sometimes, yes, there's nothing. Other times, yeah, you wish they worked 100% of the time.
Haven't had Five Guys in years, dude. You need to rectify that this weekend, B. Get yourself a nice bacon double with everything on it. You need to get the Cajun fry, and I've actually never had the shake, but from what I've heard, the shake is.
My go-to shake is peanut butter, banana, and chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I mean, peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I grew up on those things, like being a kid, and then and like
Dude,
summer vacation.
Elvis sandwiches with when you just put bacon on it too. You have to do it on Italian bread.
Oh, true. Yep.
Yeah.
Elvis had it. Elvis knew what was up.
Yeah.
He I mean, that's going back to like a summer vacation when I was really young. I'd be watching like Blue's Clues or something like that. Like during the day, my mom would make me a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Ooh. At a simpler time, if you will.
Banana, such a good combo. Exactly, Jorno. But anyway, before we go too far off the rails,
peanut butter and banana is such a good combo.
But yeah, so you know, especially with the Ed Camper's character, just bringing the positivity and stuff, and I know eventually you rebranded back to CampTheBoy. How did you because that was like what you referred to before, right? Before
yeah, that's how so it was kind of just a brand congruency thing because I was always doing music under CampTheBoy. And so it's kind of like, and it was a similar emblematic return to like, because like we had like for a while I was like, you know what, Ed's gonna go on vacation and it's just gonna be me at the cabin because I've kind of, especially with all this pandemic and all this crazy stuff, I've kind of like lost the, I still want to be able to stream because it's fun, but at the same time I've lost the pizzazz, so I still want to do this, but I just want to kind of be myself for a while. So it was sort of, the name change was like kind of like, all right, it's becoming kind of just like my, it's you should expect just like a regular guy instead of Ed. Like so that change happened, but yeah, like it originally stemmed from my music, and like I mean the name Camp just came, it was a picture I'd taken one time while we were at like a bonfire, and actually I still have it. It's like we had this random bonfire, and someone had like nailed down like a signpost and had wanted to write like on the sign like to name the place that we were doing a bonfire like camp something.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had wrote camp, but they wrote it too big, so it just said camp on the sign. And it was like, oh, like we'll just call it camp. And then like it was at the time when I was really starting to try to do my own music.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been in and out of like a few bands or whatever, and I like want to do my own thing. And I was like, you know, camp is kind of a cool, like it's kind of my aesthetic. Like I've always loved to be like kind of electronic-y but outdoorsy, and always doing like growing up in New Hampshire, like in the woods, always imagine like, especially with the music I make, which is very like mix weird of electronic slash like even a little bit of auto tune, like in like some electronic beats into like acoustic and like folky. I was like, this idea of like a robot like sitting at like a robot like sitting at a campfire like singing like campfire songs was how I always imagined it. So I was like, oh, camp is kind of a cool, or CampTheBoy is kind of a cool way to like, you know, to explain that. And so yeah, that's where the name came from, and where I like kind of brought the channel to name it that. And now that we're doing like Ed Camper's Cabin again, I like have thought about bringing that back into the name, but I don't know. It'd be later on if I wanted to go back to Ed Camper's Cabin or not, or the cabin. I don't know.
I did want to ask you in particular, because especially with with Ed Campers, or just with the cabin in general, just how important theming can be for your channel, and just having it like stand out amongst like the sea of like thousands and thousands of other folks on this platform. How or how much of that like played into like a factor for you that you had this idea in your head to like really like, I think I really want to like roll with this, and then you go for it, and then and yeah, and I mean clearly it stood out for me. So but yeah, what would you say like in regards to like anyone that that might be starting on the platform, like like how like is theming like super important, or what would you say, like do you think like you should kind of go in that direction when you're starting out, or what would you say the best way to really like make yourself to make yourself unique compared to other folks?
It's tough because like I have a few different answers for that, because I'm ideally when you're first starting out, like, and I say this with everything, with music, with like streaming, with like writing, the most important thing you can do is just like to force yourself to do it. Like, and no matter the you shouldn't worry about the end result. Like no matter what you're putting on there, like the most important thing is that you're developing like anything. So like, because it can be so easy to overthink something like before you even started doing it, and then you never end up doing it because you've thought yourself out of the whole thing. Like it's become such a burden before you've started it, that you can that you tend to just like not even do it at all because you've thought so much about it that you become, I don't know, it becomes a beast. You become afraid to even like try and do it because it's this whole like idea of a picture in your head. You're so afraid to not like create it fully. So like first and foremost, I would say just like, I don't know, no matter like without even thinking too hard about it, give yourself one idea and just stick to it, and then just like start doing it. Whether it's getting on stream and just talking, and I can almost promise you it's going to be to 0 or 1 viewer. Like just getting used to like a schedule and getting used to doing something. Like later on down the line, like when you start to think about how am I going to make my stream stand out, and how am I going to make my stream like more personal, where people are going to want to stay there and people want like to give it a specific feel. I mean, coming from marketing, like a marketing background, so all this was like deep in my head before I'd even, it's how you analyze everything. Like how like thematically everything has to check, like everything has to have something in order to like really step apart from from something else. Because you have to think like realistically on the platform, like how many people are all doing the same thing, like And like, is there really anything that's like an original idea? Like, and how many people are, you know, like they're not even doing like a podcast, or they're not doing like any amazing of the other things, and just sort of like sitting in front of a computer and talking. And it's like, okay, well, now I want to try to get people to see that maybe this is a little bit different. So that's when I start to think of a cabin, and I start to think of a kitchen, and I start to think of all these other scenes that we can go to, and then you start to build from there. um I'd say like it is very dependent on the type of stream that you want to run. Like, I'm not here to disparage that either. Like, if you just want to like make it as like, you know, low key and like as like just down to earth as possible, like I mean, I'd say there are more of those kind of streamers like than there are like streamers going like ham on themes and all of that stuff. Like, the doc is of course a huge example, but for one doc there's like especially on Twitch, like 90 to 95% of streamers are kind of just at their computer. They react to things on like, you know, like videos, and then they like play multiplayer games, or will play like single player games for a little bit, and that's about all like they have to do. So I wish I could tell you that it is incredibly important, and that all the work that you're going to put into doing crazy characters and like all this stuff is the way you want to do it, or the way that you should do it. But the reality is that it's anything that you want to put into it. Give yourself like an image in your own head of what you imagine you'd have the most fun doing, and what would be the easiest to do for a while, and stick to that. Because I'd say that's literally the most important part of it all, over theme and over anything else. It's consistency. Because you like, no matter what, if you're just in front of a computer and just like, you know, a pretty nice person, then like over time it's pretty likely that you're, statistically speaking, that you're going to build a community. Like, because for whatever reason or whatever, like people are going to eventually like find you and visit you, and if you're nice to them, then they're going to want to stay and talk to you. And so the matter then becomes staying consistent with it, and like building a schedule. Because when people know when you're going live, or when people are you know, like aware of when they're going to see you, it allows you to like keep a consistent viewership and keep building on that. And that's something, I mean, the cabin, so like the cabin kind of hit like a peak, and then after like we ended up going on hiatus, and then like, you know, that whole stuff happened. The schedule ended up being completely thrown out the window. It was kind of random when we would stream, and then we've only started to establish the schedule again and see like it build back up a little bit. So, but we've kind of had to start not from ground zero, but we just kind of had the main core of campers like to start with again. And so like, but that is just like an even more example of like how important consistency is, and how important getting on a schedule is. And the only way you're going to be able to keep on that schedule is if you are in a comfortable place that you enjoy doing.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's a kind of, I threw a lot of like topics out there, but yeah, like mostly that's what it comes down to. Don't sweat on the theme as much as just sweating on enjoying what you're doing. Like, so if that means that you have to put on a cardigan and a tie and sing crazy songs and go to different places of the cabin, then yeah, then do that. But if it just means you sitting in front of your desk and talking to people, and like, I think there's still plenty of opportunity for that. And like, if that's going to have you, if that's going to be what keeps you on an amazing schedule, where people can expect you like every, you know, as many days a week, then do it that way.
I definitely agree with you about consistency. I mean, I usually only do a few days a week on here, and with everything that's been happening for me in the last like couple months, like I've had to take like a lot of time out, just, you know, take care of this place, take care of, you know, finalizing everything. I had like a couple days where just like mentally, I just like, with like everything that was happening, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind too, I'm like, no, I need to like, I really need to like keep consistent with this. But ultimately, like, you know, life happens. You need to, if you need that mental health day, take it. And it, you know, it's tough, but so there's definitely two sides of the coin to it. You know,
Definitely,
because
like,
you don't want to be forcing yourself either. Like you want to be consistent, but you don't want to push yourself too hard that you end up just driving yourself crazy, you know?
Yeah, definitely, which is kind of what we ended up encountering like at the cabin, and why we ended up taking like that hiatus, because it was like I'm becoming it's kind of driving me crazy now, and I'm starting to feel this crazy pressure like that I didn't feel before, and yeah, like I said, just being in this weird emotional state, and then having to try to put on this like, you know, try to be a different character for people and help them out when I needed to like help myself out too. Like it ended up kind of being a recipe to be like, okay, I need to take some time off and figure it all out, and eventually hit a better balance of like now where we do a couple days a week in the cabin, then we do a couple days a week of just nice lo-fi streams, and then I do like on top of that, we started to do like the YouTube content of like just doing some like playthroughs with just Ed commentary, which is nice because, you know, Ed doesn't have to get dressed up or anything and can kind of just, you know, play a game and talk and then upload it to YouTube. Yeah, and that's been a great, like, just, and it doesn't put the pressure on finishing. I need to finish games. I can never just like I can never just like stop a game halfway through and then be like, all right, we'll come back to that later, and then whatever. Like, so it allows me to, but then it allows, since we're only doing maybe 3 days a week right now, it allows me to kind of play those games and then not have to like play them for like 4 months in order to beat them on stream. Like I'll play it for like a week or two, and then I'll be like, okay, we'll beat the rest of this off stream, upload it to YouTube, and we can play a new game like next time. So it makes it much easier.
One of my favorite things on your channel, you have your I don't know, I'm not sure if you're still doing it, the education segments where you're it's essentially
talking about those.
It's essentially you're essentially doing your own commentary over like a random like YouTube video that like goes over like the creation of something, or like
how it's made mostly.
Yeah, how it's made, and I'm trying to think of the show that like most compares to, that does like the same kind of like a Djibouti dubs kind of thing, where you just you're overdubbing it and like just making it like really funny. And like, dude, I would just die like when you would do those, like, what was it, like the creation of Oreos, like the just like random stuff like that, and like what would you say, or would you say that, or like what would you say are some of your favorite things that you do like as well on your channel?
Yeah, honestly, like we were just talking about this on the channel like yesterday or 2 nights ago, and it was like, yeah, I love doing like segments. I love this idea of like solidifying it as a show and doing like more segments. So we were talking about education time with Ed because it was like an awesome segment of the show that we would do, and then like, and so, but I mean, yeah, those are, it's tough. It's a weird, like, I still haven't found the right balance for it, because it's like there's half of the cabin that comes there for Ed chilling out at the cabin and just chatting, and there's like half of the cabin that comes there to watch him play like games. But it seems like there's not really like a lot of overlap. Like there's just half of people asking for games, like, when are you gonna play, when are you playing this, when are you playing this, and half the people are like, oh, you're finally playing something, all right, I'll see you later. So like, it's hard to say that any of it's my favorite, because it's all like fun, like at the end of the day, like. And I mean, we were just talking about, because I want to think of more segments to do, because there were some people, of course, who were like education, like those, basically the gaming portion of the cabin was saying education time was like, we're just waiting to like watch you play games. Where like, but honestly, I love the idea of like, if we could just do like a show with segments and have different, if I can think of more of them, that's like so fun to me. And I think it would just, so like, to call it like a show and like with episodes and stuff, I think that would be like the perfect like a recipe for me.
Yeah, because then you could cut up those segments, and I mean, you've basically been doing that on your YouTube channel anyway, like especially like the education segments or whatever, and it makes for great content, man. So
yeah, it all came from the idea of like someone trying to explain something that they have no idea, like. It was the total idea of like my like school presentations, like where you like a lot of times you wouldn't actually study that much before you do it, and then you just have to try to wing it. And like, and so it was the idea of taking that to like the ultimate of just like turning on a video of something that you like, I literally could not tell you one thing of how an Oreo was made, or like I think we like, it was like uranium, like, and then having to try to like try to fake like how that you actually know what it is. And so there's like, oh, this idea of like Ed who just wants to educate everybody and like, spread this idea of learning, but who knows nothing about how uranium is made, to try to roll like a clip and try to make you feel like he knows what he's talking about at all.
Dude, it's so good, man. I love it.
Yeah, it makes me laugh while I'm doing it because it's just like it's so random because you don't know what to expect like next, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's how. And of course they just tumble this and then they light it to 1 million degrees. Like I don't know, but yeah, no, it's a ton of fun to do all that stuff.
What would you say are like the biggest things you've learned while doing the channel and being a content creator?
Yeah, I like it. Kind of harkens back to what I had what we were just talking about earlier. Like consistency, like is still, I think, was number one. Number two, I mean, on top, I guess number 1A and 1B would be like making sure it's something that you are you're in your comfort zone with and that you enjoy doing the most. Like if it's something that feels like a toll or something that feels like it's too much stress or anything on you, then like you might want to consider retooling that, because it's all, like that's going to affect your consistency and your longevity. Like because as much as you can muscle through it now, like when you're, I don't know, when you're doing it 5 days a week or whatever for 6 or 8 hours, eventually that weight is gonna keep pushing and pushing on you, and the next thing you know, it's gonna, something's gonna have to give. I mean, on top of that, like it's been a lot of, I wasn't really too knowledgeable on Discord. So I mean, I learned a lot about community, like building through doing this, and how how that's a whole aspect of streaming that a lot of people don't understand when they're just like, oh, I want to do streaming. Like, because I mean, with any other sort of platform, that's never something that they really have to do. Like you have a marketing team, or you have any sort of like representatives to do that. But for streaming particularly, you kind of have to be unless you have some crazy like motivated mod or whatever who just is cool with making your community and doing all that for you. Like most of the time it's the streamer who has to like facilitate that whole community by making the Discord, doing social media stuff, whatever, like anything. So that was a huge learning experience for me. Like and learning about like doing everything on Discord and all the channels and moderating Discord for a while. Luckily we were able to get moderators like down the line that have helped out with that, but awesome. Having to do all that, yeah. And I mean, it's just all these little things that you never would have guessed, like, or whether you want your channel to be 18 plus or available to all audiences, and like what's the ramifications of doing both of that, like going either direction with that, especially for something like the cabin where you want it to be open to everybody, Exactly. But at the same time, like it's so crazy. Like I don't even think I have an answer to some of these questions now, but like I don't know. What have you? I'm curious to know what you've like, what has stuck in your mind, like going through all like all your time as a streamer. Anything that I haven't said?
No, you pretty much nailed a lot of the stuff on the head. Like for me, definitely like the importance of community, because I mean, it's so key to because especially like everyone in the chat right now, like a good majority of all of them are other streamers, and so you always want to do your best to try to support all of them. It's good to keep the love going around, and and then we have like more friends that they come through that maybe aren't doing that, and then they become streamers. So you want to like, it's so fulfilling and rewarding to like help them hit that affiliate mark, and and it's just it's just like I said, just big circle of love.
Yeah, definitely. And, like supporting, like it's like, I don't want to, like, networking is kind of a taboo word because it implies something way more business than what like we would mean, but just making new friends and like going out and supporting other creators is huge.
Yeah,
that's probably the thing I do the worst, I would say, is because I like am so caught up on doing it. Like basically when I'm done streaming and I can like raid someone else, like I want to, it's just all this other stuff that I need to get done, and like I was lucky to make as many friends as I did starting out the cabin because I met all those people and like Pope introduced me to everybody.
Hmm.
Like I wish I could be that person who could just like you know just sort of spread the love all the time. So I'll like try and like set some people to lurk, and
Hmm.
I'll usually be like I'll have this channel lurking in the background, and I'll have other people that I'm like lurking on. But yeah, that's something that I'd say like is hugely important as well. Like you see someone like Tats, who like started off as just purely, you know, just doing. I think that's what he did the best. Was just supporting. Like would just go to every other person who was like, you know, everyone was talking to, and would just like support. And he's like just watches. I mean, his stream is kind of just like blown up
Hmm.
because of all the support that he's given and the love that he's given to everybody. Like it just because that's it, in its own like in my own marketing way, that's like a perfect form of networking as well. Like
Hmm.
you're meeting other creators, you're getting introduced to their community, they're introducing you, they're getting introduced to your community, and and that can help your channel grow.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, outside of like, you know, like we're talking about like the segments and stuff that you want to do. Do you have any other like future plans you want to do with your channel? Like, yeah, I guess to like wrap up just the channel talk.
Yeah. The I'd say just growing the cabin. Like I would like I said, I would love to be able to do like a stand up scenes. You know, where like I can kind of be a part of the scene, like moving around would be like amazing to do.
Hmm.
Excuse me, but man, I wish like I need a way bigger space for that because you need to like it. I don't know. I'd need to get more cameras for the cabin, is what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
and and all that stuff. But yeah, just growing the cabin scenes and growing like the segments and growing the world of the cabin would be the main way that I would want to like watch the cabin grow.
Yeah.
Um, and then I mean, just playing more like retro games and having fun is like I think we've been playing some new games lately, and I think going back to the retro stuff, I actually want to. I would love to do some more speed runs too. I'm a huge speed run fan,
Nice.
and so like actually the first sub goal that I mean the most recent sub goal we have is to start speed running Untitled Goose Game. So I was
Nice.
thinking about this segment of doing like it's called like the top 15 or something like that of the cabin, where basically it's like you become like in the top 15% of any speedrun community that like you decide to speedrun
Hmm.
or whatever game you like to get in the top 15% of the rankings,
Yeah.
or top 20% or something like that. And I would love to start to incorporate that because I've always like watched speedrunning, and I would love to just like I'd have to be a little bit picky on the games because some of them are just so crazy technical,
Hmm.
but it would be really cool to start to incorporate that a little bit and have a little bit of fun, like competitive wise.
Hmm. I feel like the one if I've contemplating like attempting a speed run between with DKC, just because I know that game like the back of my hand. I play it way too much.
Yeah.
Although after playing and beating, because we talked about it a little earlier, beating DKC 2 twice this year. Now I'm like, I kind of want to, I really love that game too. What am I doing? But that game is like way more hard, so I feel it.
Yeah, I
In
just
a
watched
little
the
longer,
speed
so.
run of it recently. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially like the Bramble levels, because trying to go fast through those, it's like no way.
Insanity. I was
No
like, oh my
way.
gosh. And there's all these crazy like glitches you can do like that. Like I don't even know how, but like there's like a perma flight glitch that if you hit something like specifically, like you can fly rocket yourself to the other end of a level. Like
That's crazy.
absolutely. That's why I was like, Goose Game seemed kind of cool because it was just like pretty short, pretty simple. Like it'd be pretty like memey too.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to
You
go
know,
if you're starting out. So just like
definitely.
pick some shorter ones and go from there.
Yeah. So that's where I see it. I don't know, and eventually probably like increasing the amount of days that we do it again, because I mean we're down to like 3 days now, which is not ideal for like you know I'd want to do like 5 if I could and do a little bit longer streams, but it's kind of like how life is right now. Like
Honestly,
until
honestly, I think I don't know. Me personally, I think 3 is like the perfect balance.
mm,
Like I know there's a lot of folks that will do 4 or 5 days, but I mean for me personally, like it's nice to have those extra days to just, especially because like the way that I set up my schedule, or have like I set up like in like every other day basically. Um, I mean, it's all to your preference, um, but I like having it set up like that so I can at least have like certain days where I know I can like hang out with family,
Yeah,
hang out with my partner,
yeah. See your partner.
can jump in other friends' channels and stuff. Just
Exactly.
so or just if I have like other stuff I need to get sorted out, so I can always like do that. So I mean, it's one, you know, as fun as it is to do it, come on here like more often, but at the same time, like, nothing wrong with 3 days if that's all you do, man.
No, definitely. Yeah.
It's whatever works for you, and yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it all comes down again to like what we were talking about of just like whatever you're the most comfortable with and whatever like feels the easiest for you to like do
Mhm.
while also like fun.
Exactly.
So if 5 days eventually seems like a huge toll,
Mhm.
then for the sake of your consistency, you might want to scale back on that so you don't just like disappear because you burn yourself out.
Mhm. Exactly. Cool,
Yep,
man.
yep.
Cool, man. Yeah. So figured before we like, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because next week is Christmas, and wanted to get into the Christmas sphere. Before we do that, I did want to touch really quick, because we talked about you and your music background a little bit, and you mentioned
Yeah, yeah.
how CampTheBoy, that was the moniker you went with especially when you were making music and stuff. And you actually put out an album last year too called Before Saga, which
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, for me listening to it, and then the way you explained it too, it's like acoustic with like some like electronic kind of put into it. So like I'm listening to this and I'm getting like sort of like a Daft Punk kind of vibe with like a Koji, or like a
Yeah.
or just I'm just like a chill, like, but just like with like a chill like acoustic sound out of it, style out of it. What would you say were some of your influences, especially like writing that album, and or just like with your writing, behind your writing process in general?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so especially with Before Saga, like it was this whole idea. So basically, like this, I'd written this album called Saga, and like, and I'm still actually like recording it right now, like, and it's kind of it's the big like, this is the album that like I've like thought of from the like I've planned out every song. It tells like a story,
Mm-hmm.
and like I've like I've kind of had this whole thing planned out, and I want it to sound perfect, and I've been working on it forever. So basically, like I Before Saga came to be because I just had been making music for years, and sort of they were kind of just like scattered around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of like, all right, if before I put this album out, I might as well like make this album of just a compilation of everything that I've done before this album. So there's literally just like the album is named after the idea of like, this is just everything before the album that will be
Yeah.
put out next. So yeah, and so all of it is literally just a compilation of when I first started making music up to like literally, I mean like a little less than a year ago or so, when like and then we did like Maurice and I had a little jam set that we would do when we were living together. So I
Mm-hmm.
put that out as called Live from the Cabin. Um, and that's just like some live songs that we would play just to like have fun
Mm-hmm.
some random times. But yeah, I'd say like as far as influences go, it's actually a weird mix. It was basically like I I love all music. I listen to anything. Besides, I'm not a big like modern country guy. Um, it's very like pop country. Like I'm not a huge fan of. Um, but old country and like old folk and bluegrass, I love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it was this, and so I always loved like so kind of like the punky acoustic aesthetic of like kind of folk punk, like, and that's kind of how I would play, like especially with my acoustic. And I mean there are a few different bands that kind of had that aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
um and especially coming from a place like New Hampshire, like in the woods, like you always kind of had that aesthetic like around you.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that like kind of that whole idea of like sitting at a fireplace or a fire with an acoustic guitar and singing, I always had that. But on the other hand, my like it's hard for me to really nail down one inspiration for the acoustic stuff. I guess I would say like there's this band called Weatherbox that's real that I loved growing up. Um, there's another this it's the guy from Manchester Orchestra. He does a side project called Right Away Great Captain. Um, and it's like his own. It's basically his own. He like is a character, and like in it, all the albums are like different stories that he tells, but it's not. They're very ambiguous, like lyrically. Like it's not like just telling you a story. Um, so I guess bands like that were what inspired me, like acoustically, with singing and then I mean singing, I was just inspired by everything. But then on the other hand, with the electronic stuff, I actually like am pretty hugely into like rap and like trap and like sort of and like electronic, even like the SoundCloud rap, like auto tune and like crazy like weird electronic beats. Um, and I've it's just always like I've been fascinated with that as well, and so it was sort of like this in the idea of like mashing it together just came from like, man, I love both of these things so much, and I don't have any like, what would I want to hear? Like this would be like the perfect thing for that I would be looking for in my own like music taste. And it's pretty like niche because it's like how many people have both those different like stylistic cravings that they want to see mashed together, where it's like beats and acoustic guitar with like auto-tune singing and also regular singing, like but it literally came from that. Like I mean, and I guess my like those kind of influences on the other side go from like Travis Scott and like Playboy Carti and Kid Cudi and like Lil Uzi Vert and I mean plenty of those like different like I don't know experiences listening to those guys. But yeah, just like craving the concept of like mashing it all together and seeing how it sounds and kind of doing both, and then like the idea of just uh the idea of like this robot singing like at a campfire like is kind of where it all came from, and that's where like the idea of CampTheBoy came from.
The Shrub Kid, thank you for the 2 bits. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
Balling out.
And yeah, so you're so you put up that album before Saga. You said that you have this album Saga that you're working on, or that you're going to work on. So you're going to make this like a trilogy, and you're going to do after Saga for the next one?
Post Saga? Yeah, exactly. It's well, it's tough because then after Saga would just be like my everything I put out musically after that album. But no, yeah, I like wrote all those songs. Some of them came from like when I was living in my car. Some of them came from all these different areas, and I like it's so tough because talking about like I just dropping the bits. Shrub Kid, thanks for another 1 bit.
Thank you again, bud.
It's tough because like I had said like when we were talking about streaming and like being creative and everything, like it's the more you sit on something, a lot of times the more you'll build it up in your head, and the harder it gets to feel like it's something that it's completed or whatever. So it's the same thing with this album. Like I've been conceptualizing this album for like about 2 years now, a year to 2, and the more I sat on it, the harder it's been to like keep going with it and complete it, because I just have like really built up my own expectations for it.
Thank you for the follow as well, Shrub Kid. Welcome in. Happy to have you. But
so yeah,
cool, man. And I mean, you're fairly musically inclined. Like you play keys, especially like on the channel. You play guitar. You especially like on the album. You have all the axes behind you.
Yep. All what else? Electronic beats and stuff.
Yeah. What else do you play?
I've actually been doing more. I've been playing more bass lately too. I have a few like guys that I've been jamming with lately, and we've been like I kind of just jumped on the bass, and I mean if you're like pretty well trained in guitar, then bass like is pretty simple to wrap your head around. Just because it's just less strings and like it's just more of a vibe with the drummer. So yeah, but I've been enjoying it because I find myself to be much more of a very vibe / like melodic centric person. Like I like even if it's just simple like grooves. I like something that's way like catchier than like technical.
Mm-hmm.
So the bass kind of like just seems so right to me. Like especially when I started playing, I was like, yeah, just like something a little bit repetitive, something a little bit like just melodic was really like so fun for me. So I've been enjoying the bass lately.
Cool, man.
But other than that, for what else I play, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides the piano, guitar, and singing, and then I guess bass.
Cool, man. Yeah, and yeah, you mentioned you played in like a bunch of bands growing up too. Were you so you're mostly just doing the solo stuff now, or are you
Yep.
like talking with buddies about possibly like down the line, like once we get some normalcy to start jamming again, or what's in the or what you got in the pipeline?
Yeah, I'd say the solo stuff is mostly it. Like I have some buddies that I jam with, but I don't know if we'd ever make like a band or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like as far as the pipeline goes, yeah, it's always fun to just jam because like I don't know, it's only like someone else who like can has played music and can jam like understands like it's such a therapeutic like thing to do with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially when you have another guitarist or you have a drummer, like it's I literally see it as like form of like therapy. Like you can kind of turn your brain off and just like feel like have like people just like speak in a different language all at the same time, and like I don't know, it's so cool. Like so I love the idea of like just holding like having jamming for that reason, like as just a way to connect with people and like sort of just like in a way where no one has to say a word. Like you kind of all just like smiling and nodding your head when things just go really well, and like you're like, oh, that sounds so sick.
I gotta hold that thought for 1 second. Digimanda rating with a party of 33
Wow.
folks. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Amanda, thank you so much for that raid. Super Mango, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Rerun, hello. Emmy, hello. Trollmaster, hello. Good to see you, Amanda.
What
Thank
up,
you
everyone?
so much for that. Yeah, how's it going, everybody? If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Kopps. We primarily play a lot of RPGs on here, a lot of retro stuff, and every so often we do these interviews on here with various content creators. Holy
Nice. 5 gifted.
The Alex Mana? Thank you so much for those few gifted subs. Thank you so much. Throwing those to the Shrub Kid, to Bear, and to Techmon. Yeah,
Wow.
thank you so much. Yeah, and welcome in, everybody. Amanda, how was the stream? Seemed it went very well for you. What did you end up playing today? Were you still playing through your Paper Mario? Over there? You are, yeah, nice. How's that going? And yeah, to anyone that's in the chat, that was in the chat before the raid, please give Digimanda a follow over there. She's awesome. She's just absolutely killing it over there, and yeah, always a fun time to hang out when she's live. It's fantastic. Just got to the beginning of chapter 4 of Pepper Mail. Nice, very nice.
Is this the N64 one?
The N64 one, yeah. And, Emmy,
Nice.
thank you so much for the follow as well. And yeah, welcome in again, everybody. And yeah, like I said, every so often we do an interview with a different content creator on here. Today we got my good bud CampTheBoy on, another streamer on the platform. He's a musician. He he's it's always a great time on his channel, and yeah, we're just here having a good chat. Right now we're talking about his music background, and we're gonna be jumping into good holiday talk. So yeah.
Yeah,
thank you
it's
again
kind of
for all
crazy.
those
We were
bits.
just talking about Paper Mario like earlier because it was like one of my I think it was my first like gaming memory ever was was watching my dad play Paper Mario.
There you go and eat some dins. I'll be lurking. All right, no worries. And yeah, thank you so much again for bringing over your community, Amanda. And yeah, rerun Trollmaster, Emmy. Good to see all of you. And yeah, the Alex,
yeah.
thank you so much again for those gifted subs. Seriously, it means a lot. And
Emmy had said that she's playing Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, on her PS4, and
oh, very nice.
Yeah, you'd probably know that way more than I. But
FF12 is fantastic, dude. I've only played the PS2 version of it, but I have the PS4 one somewhere on that shelf back there. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely like top 5 Final Fantasy for me. Well, just the base one, so I imagine I'll enjoy that remaster so much more. So yeah, that's awesome, Emmy.
Have you seen? Have you been able to catch any of the videos for Sephiroth's Smash play yet?
Well, I didn't see the gameplay. I saw the reveal trailer, which was amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
Dude, how'd you feel, especially being such a Final Fantasy guy? Were you like hugely pumped about that?
I mean, I didn't expect them to announce him. Like, I was like thinking, like, are they actually? Like, will they actually bring Sora in today? Like, is this gonna happen? But, yeah, once the reveal happened, like, because I was live when it happened, and one of the buds in the community, he was giving me updates. He's like, oh yeah, it's Sephiroth. I'm like, I did not see that coming, but that's awesome. And watch the trailer, and dude, the part where it's like the silhouette of like him with the sword through Mario, and dude, I like laughed so hard. And then you see the part where it's like in his overalls and just the ultimate debate, and it's so funny.
Yep. Oh, Emmy also has played the PS2 version back in 2009
and finished it, not completing it. Yeah, I don't think I fully completed it, but yeah, fantastic game.
Yeah, they just released the gameplay for him today. It was like at like 7 or 6 or something like that. He like Sakurai sat down and did the whole like, you know, showing off all of his moveset, and it's pretty cool. Like he shows all of the different I mean, every single move he has is like a reference to his moves in Final Fantasy, and like his smash attack, or like the super attack you do, is like his, I forget what it's called, like ascended form or whatever, with like it's him like, you know, in the whole like mosaic of like,
the final form,
god form,
the final form, yeah,
final form, that's what it's called, yeah. And if it like it has different ailments, like, so if you hit it with like 3 people, one person will like get their controls reversed, the other person will get put to sleep. It's like it's so cool, like how referential they get with that stuff.
Yeah, saw that trailer of Sephiroth and Smash, and I love the references to Advent Children. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you know, Sakurai is showing a whole lot of love to especially for a lot of RPG characters in Smash now, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, that's right. Meteor. It's like that. Like he hit, like the meteor gets hit through like a planet and then hits another planet and like blows up Earth.
That's awesome. Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna have to watch that later.
Yeah, definitely. It's so crazy. He looks like a really good character too.
Awesome. But
yeah.
But yeah, so I guess one last thing. Talking, because we were right before the raid came in. We were talking your music background and stuff. You mentioned you put out your own albums and stuff, but you also have been creating music for other folks too. So you did
true.
You wrote a thing for Jane. You did the Triple XP podcast intro.
Yep.
Some tunes for some other folks too. Do you take on commissions, or is that just or just like an extra like side gig you do, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just came like, yeah, honestly, just when people approach me and ask me, and I say sure, like, and then they ask, like, honestly, anyone who's paid me has like been the one who offered. Like, I'm just happy to do it because it's like fun to me. So I'm like, oh, and then they'll say like, no, I insist, like, I like, please let me pay you. But for the most part, it's just whoever approaches me and says like, hey, can I get like a theme song, or can I get music? And I'll say, yeah, like I love to just help out the homies that I've made through streaming. So yeah, I mean, it's always it's always just been fun to do. So yeah, there has been no formal process about it. It's always just been a word of mouth thing that, so I did it for someone, and then someone was like, "Hey, I really like this song. Can you do something for me?" And then I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, what are you looking for?" And so that's kind of how it's thrived so far.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to just do it for free or whatever.
Mhm.
So
I say I
it's
might.
always just been, it's just a ton of fun.
I would say I might have to commission you for a little
Oh,
introduction.
dude,
I
I
mean,
would love
I
to.
mean, I have a jingle, so I would love if you could like incorporate that in it, but like do your own kind of spin too. Um,
Oh man. So I would absolutely love to. I get a little bit of like guitar in there too, maybe. Like, I don't know. We get a little lick in there for that you record.
but yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm so down. Like, I always love doing that.
Awesome, man. And I figured last thing before we wrap up for tonight, want to have a nice talk about the holidays with you,
Hmm.
because like I mentioned, you're the jolliest, one of the jolliest humans I've ever met, on your channel, or just or in general, anyway, because Christmas is next week. Despite how crazy things are with the way this year has gone, but it's still, I'm still very much looking forward to the holidays, and
Yeah, yeah.
spending time with the folks we care about, and but yeah, what have the holidays always meant to you, and um, what are like some of the most important things about them for you?
Yeah, it's always, I mean, it's always been about like family and friends for me. Like, like as you get older, you sort of just like become less and less. I mean, a part of it is like you start to be able to buy like whatever you really wanted earlier on in the year.
Mhm.
So it's not like you're really waiting with bated breath for anything.
Yeah.
But so it's more just about like, connecting with family again, and like, just enjoying, like really being cognizant of enjoying their time, like everyone's time together.
Mhm.
Because it's something that I think a lot of us take for granted, like throughout the year, is like how good we have it sometimes with all the people around us who we love, and all the like, and all the people who support us in our everyday. So
Mhm.
I would say that's my biggest like the like how cognizant you are of like all of that when you get around Christmas or the holiday time, like is really great. Like, and that's probably what I look forward to the most. What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely family. I always, I mean, this year's a little different with the way that just trying to be precautious, and
Hmm.
trying to plan things around with the family and my partner and stuff, and um, but yeah, I mean, every year you'd always look forward to getting to spend time with them, and my mom, she'd always have an amazing feast for
Yep.
everybody, and then after that, we would do a dessert with like my aunt and uncle and my cousins and stuff, and it was just a great time to just catch up with everybody, and um, and it's just that's what it's about, right? Just you know,
Yeah, I think like honestly, like gaming is always huge around this time of year too. Like,
Mhm.
especially with all like the weather, it's become being where we're from, like the weather and like snow days and like like gaming is always. And then I mean, when growing up, like gaming was always what you looked for, like as far as presents were concerned. Like
Mhm.
you always wanted like a new game or a new like a new console or whatever. Like that was always, so I feel like gaming comes hand in hand with the holidays for me too. Like it's always the best time to play games because of how like, I mean, even today, like of how snowy it was outside.
Yep.
And yeah, you don't really want to go outside, so it's always perfect to like find a new games to play and boot up.
Yep.
Like, so that, I'd say that's another aspect that I always enjoy about the holiday season is, and then I mean, it's always the prime time for when games get released, like
Mhm.
because everyone tries to set their release schedule for the holiday season for the gifting. So
Mhm.
it's always a great time. It's always a nice little renaissance of the year for gaming.
Mhm. Do you have any specific like holiday memories that stick out to you? Whether it was like, a gift you gave to somebody, and
Mm.
had a nice like reaction to, or it's like something like sentimental that you gave somebody, or just something that that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah. I'd say as far as like gifts that I give to people, like every year. So I'm actually a triplet, and I have two sisters, and then I have an older sister and my mom. And for my sisters and for all my sisters every year, I'm kind of like the younger brother, so
Mhm.
I kind of just I keep things light and I try to have fun with it. So like every year I get excited because basically what I do for their gifts is I'll go to like Home Goods or something like that, and I just pick up like these random ceramic statues that I like of just random things. Like last year was like unicorns, and I just like it excites me to bring those to wrap those up every single year and then get them out and see them just be like a ceramic unicorn. It is so hilarious. Like I
Yeah.
get as a younger brother, it brings me great Christmas joy to do that and just to then be like, oh well, where are you gonna put it? Like, so I do that every year and have a blast with it. So that's every like it's always a good memory.
Mhm.
Every year seeing them in a heartwarming one, seeing them open those up
Mhm.
and try and act excited
Mhm.
and surprised.
Yep.
As far as what I've received, I mean, one of my best like memories was kind of what I talked about earlier with my mom hooking me up with the Wii on Christmas Day with their release,
Mhm.
and how like the story that she told with that of how grueling the process was to get that one Wii,
Mhm.
to make old camp or young camp so happy on Christmas.
Mhm. That's
It
awesome.
came in like a crazy like packing box too, so I had no idea what it was. I was like, what? I kind of thought I wasn't getting it, so
Yeah. They
beautiful time.
have to, you know. She wanted to debate you a little bit before.
Yeah, I got debated. I freaked out, and then I mean we played a heavy amount of Wii Sports later on that day.
So you were like Nintendo 64 kid, but with the Wii.
Yeah, I definitely was. I can tell you, I was just like
Just smacking
maybe
the
a little
box.
bit more toned down. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. A little bit more toned down because that kid goes ham on that thing. But
Oh
yeah,
my lord.
but yeah, it was kind of similar.
similar.
It was so good. Yeah, and then I mean, also being a huge Zelda fan, like having Twilight Princess come out on that, and then that ended up. I mean, a lot of people don't really like rate that one highly, but it's like one of my top three, I would say.
Oh, dude, I love Twilight Princess. Like, I have the Wii U one, the HD version. Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
I highly recommend that version. I mean, hopefully that'll get a Switch port. I feel like it's a no-brainer for Nintendo to port that in Wind Waker. Surprised it hasn't yet, but I think if I to guess, it'll probably be next year because it's the Zelda 35th now.
Yeah, true. I
So
totally forgot about that.
yeah, so we'll probably see that, and then I think there was like another like collection with like Ocarina, Majora, and like something else. But
Yeah, I've been waiting because I didn't really have those on the Wii U, so I missed the HD remastered for like Wind Waker and Twilight,
mhm.
and I'm a huge fan of both, so I was like bummed.
Yeah, yeah, and then
But yeah, those are the Christmas memes
cool,
from
cool.
my, and then I mean for Thanksgiving we all meet up. It's always just meeting up as a huge family and eating delicious food and everything.
Mhm.
Never gets old.
For sure, for sure. And do you have any other
Mhm.
like specific traditions that you would do around the holidays, or just pretty much like a same
Yeah,
old
we
kind
always
of
did.
thing? Yeah.
We always did I think every year we always do like a Yankee swap. I don't know if you do any of those. Have you heard of the Yankee swap?
So we would do that with like my aunt, and uncle, and cousins and stuff. We'd draw names from a hat. We're
Yeah.
not doing it this year for obvious reasons, but
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully next year we can, because my family kind of like my sister kind of put it out there like, hey, I think we should, we don't really need anything, so just have kind of like a chill Christmas this year, which I don't know, I kind of feel bad because I still want to like get them something, but at the same time it's like, so I might still do like a little something.
Yeah, just a little something.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, I mean, it was always so fun doing that. That's probably the main tradition we do every year. Is besides like the classics like putting up the tree and like doing the ornaments for that and like it always like that's the most fun, like having everybody take numbers and do that whole like rigmarole of gift giving.
awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a great time of year. This like I still like I don't know. I think a lot of people get jaded about this time of year because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's become such a hallmark kind of like a like era for it." But I think it's honestly what you put into it. You
Hmm.
know, like it's your outlook on it. If you're telling yourself that it's a hallmark holiday, then you're probably not
Hmm.
appreciating like the like good that can come from the holiday too.
Hmm.
Like, you know, if you're that jaded on the whole thing, like it's up to you to try to find like the real meaning of the time of year. And if you do have a problem with that specific aspect of the holiday, then maybe you try and change it up so that you don't feel that way, you know, like maybe your gifts are the ones that you create with your own hands, and like,
Yeah.
you know, like you knit a hat for like someone. I bet they'd still really
I
like
mean,
that.
dude, a gift like that, like honestly, I appreciate like so much more. Like
Yeah,
my
exactly.
sister does that. She makes hats. She actually she's been making sweaters lately. Like she made this dope. She posted a picture today of a sweater she made for my brother-in-law, and it's it's like a sweater like this, but there's like a pattern of like hops like around.
Oh,
It's like so it looks so sick. I'm like, oh, I kind of want one of those.
yeah, I'm just jealous.
like, if I got it for that person, dude, I'd be so pumped. Like,
Yeah,
but
exactly. So that's what I mean. It
but
doesn't have to be a
but
hallmark, but like,
but even then, it's like, yeah, just if giving someone or giving someone something that you made. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna say uh, what I have for a possible gift this year, but I will say
yeah,
I'm very excited to share that gift. Uh,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it, I feel like it will have uh, a more sentimental meaning for it, and and I'm that has me like way more excited now, or as excited as I was like being a kid, like at Christmas, like when I was like real young, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And it's way better than just giving someone like a gift card for $30 to Amazon or whatever. Like, you know, because that's when you start to feel like it's more of a hallmark and empty holiday because it becomes more just about spending money than it does the sentimentality like
mhm,
behind it all.
yeah,
So I definitely agree. That's I think where the real amazingness comes from this time of year.
definitely, man. And yeah, hopefully, the way that this whole 2020 was a big or has a big asterisk around it,
Yeah,
just
true.
a year we would all love to forget about, and hopefully, at least we have some good news coming out of the end of this year, and hopefully, rolling around into 2021, it will just be like more good news after that, and
Yeah.
hopefully by either summer or by or around then, like or a little after then, that we'll have a little more normalcy than we have. But um, were there any like outside of like the negative for obvious reasons? Did you have any like specific highlights from this year?
Yeah, I mean, just living with like Maurice and that in Washington and like doing that whole thing was such a cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came back probably around like September, October, and he's been one of my like best friends that I've made. We met in like my freshman year of college, and we've been friends ever since and lived together like, you know, with all of our friends throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of go back and be able to just live with him again, like, and I mean, have him like be a part of the stream. Like we would jam, we would like watch a ton of anime together and like
Nice.
play in like game. We just like old like, you know, what we do back in the day. Like we started playing through all these different series like on the hardest difficulty, like all the Halo games, all the Gears of War games, like all and just kind of like any sort of co-op games that we play together on the hardest difficulties and try to beat them. Um, so that was probably like the highlight of it all. Like, or I guess one of the highlights for me is just kind of reliving those like cool, just like friend days of just living with your friend and just enjoying the whole process of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, eventually, like also it just a like highlight is just moving back here and being around my really close friends again, and
Yeah.
you know my family and like my mom and my sisters and everybody like to be able to come back here and just like, be surrounded by that love again was a huge highlight after being pretty isolated, like all the way across like 3,000 miles across the country.
Hmm.
Like definitely huge highlights for me. But in an overall pretty gloomy time.
Hmm.
What anything for you?
Uh, I mean, I have a few. I mean, before the world went to shit,
Yeah.
I did get to. I met Jane in February. I met her.
Yeah,
I met
yeah.
her at PAX, and so we got to attend PAX together, and that was. I mean, I've never been to. I've been to conventions before, but not like a gaming convention. So that was a really awesome experience for me.
Yeah, not to mention like just meeting, like having met someone via your stream, and then to be able to meet them in person and like experience that with them.
Yeah,
Meet a new friend.
yeah, and I'm incredibly grateful for her for thinking of me because she had an extra ticket and she was like, hey, you wanna you wanna come meet up, and it was like, yeah, like that'd be awesome. And yeah, it was an awesome time with her. And yeah, so, and that was like right like at the point of like, all right, things are getting scary. I'm surprised this is still going on right now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it was still a good time. And we're just as we're going through the convention hall, I'm literally sanitizing my hands like after I touch every controller, like.
True. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there was that. Just meeting or getting to hang out with like all the friends, like, I mean, especially like during like the complete lockdown that essentially
Yeah.
happened. And I mean, I mentioned all between Shane, B, Jordan, like all those guys, and that I met like over the last couple of years. And we were just like constantly like hanging out on each other's channels. And and then in time met more folks. And met Berezovsky, met met just the list goes on and on.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just a blast getting to meet all of them. And yeah, it was just like I'm incredibly grateful for everyone that that comes through here, that that's helped me a bunch. And yeah, and so there's that. And then yeah, met my partner earlier this year too, and so that was another big highlight for me too. And she's just been great. She's been super supportive and understanding, and it's just seeing where it goes. And yeah, it's been despite the lowest lows of what 2020 could throw at you, between all that, it's just been I've still come out on top. And of course becoming a
New
homeowner
place.
too, like
Yeah, exactly.
that was, I mean, that's another huge, I mean, that was like the tail end of this year, like just the last few weeks. And yeah, so yeah, despite all that, all the craziness, it a whole lot of exciting stuff that happened. And I'm pretty grateful the way that the stars aligned. And I've been grateful to still be in like good health through all this madness.
Definitely.
And then my like I had some family that thankfully, like, unfortunately they tested positive, but luckily it was just kind of like a minor strain for them, so they were good. But my immediate family and and then like the rest of my family like have all been good in the meantime. So it's just it's yeah, very lucky, very fortunate. And I'm excited to see like where 2021 goes. And hopefully with the more positive news we get, we'll go on an upswing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like to rebound with it all. I mean, and then, I mean, like gaming seems to be turning a really cool, like advanced corner too. Like, I mean, I think that there's a lot to look forward to. Like, and then, I mean, just everything seems to kind of be settling down, and we can start to just really enjoy our time, like on this place, on this crazy earth again.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my fingers crossed for 2021 too. Like, I mean, I was pretty pumped for 2020 when it happened. It's a shame that it had to end up the way that it has, but like you said, there are still really positive things to be found
Mm-hmm.
within some diamonds in the rough, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, that's about all I got for you today, man. So, I mean, I appreciate you hanging out for a few hours with me. Just talk about gaming, your channel, holidays, like everything, man. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just hit. I think your stream literally just hit the 3-hour mark. So, you nailed it when you said 3 hours.
But well, right before we wrap up, I will generally always leave it open for the chat. If you have any last questions for Camp before we wrap up, a game related question, a channel related question, music related question, holiday related question, whatever you got for them.
Question related question.
Question related question. Yeah. But yeah, if you have any last things before we wrap up, and yeah, if not, then we'll try to throw a race ski at somebody and try to share the love. But yeah. Oh. Lash, rating with a party is 16. How's it going? Welcome in. Good to see you.
It's cool. We'll send that love to the next person.
We will, yes. Lash, thank you so much for that. And Raiders, welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. Sensitive Joy, welcome. Cat Caretaker, love that name. Welcome in. Thank you so much for that follow too, Cat Caretaker. Yeah. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Kopps. I primarily play a lot of RPGs on here, a lot of retro stuff, and we also do various interviews with oh my gosh.
Dude. It's with the raid and the 5 gifted.
With the 5 gifted subs. To Maurice, to Camp,
So
to
generous.
Slacker Stuff, to Ghost. Lash, Now they're forced you to watch the commercial free. Lash, thank you. You're way too generous.
Yo, I just got a gifted sub from that, so thank you.
Lash, thank you so much. And yeah, if you're not following Hi Lash over there, please do. She's awesome. She's
Absolutely
killing it over there.
There's so many so on that one it was Maurice, me, and Slacker all in the 5.
That's awesome.
The 3 of us were indeed college roommates for like 5 or 6 years.
Loving the jingle. Thank you. That's actually a so the jingle that plays for my alerts. That's a riff that I had Lame Genie write for me.
Hi, thank you for the glasses compliment.
But yeah, thank you so much again. And like I said, if you're not following Hi Lash, please check her out over there. Oh, you're playing some Jackbox tonight. Awesome. What which
sensitive in.
Wreck-It Raven, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. You're gonna steal Camp's class. Yeah, they are pretty nice specs, gotta say. Hope you enjoyed your time with them because you get them back. Shout out to Lame Genie. Did you know Mike and Lame Genie is in the band with your significant other? I think we might have talked about that. Actually, we might not have, but that's awesome though. That's funny because I've been good friends with those guys ever since like I was playing with all the alerts. Sensitive Joy, thank you for the follow as well. And so many generous folks. We had that big raid from Digimanda, and we just had this big one from Lash. Thank you so much, everybody.
You guys have the most amazing vibes just coming into Kopps' channel.
Sensitive Joy, thank you so much for the 50 bits, and thank you for the additional bit, Lash. I love this alert. The Final Fantasy victory music.
Yeah, it's so good. They all do the twist too.
Yeah, thanks so much for the love, everybody. I feel bad I'm late now. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we unfortunately we like literally we're just wrapping it up. We talked about we're just chatting with my bud CampTheBoy here, who's also a streamer. Please check him out if you haven't. Yeah, he has a channel over there. We were talking about that. We were talking about his music background, and we were talking about just the holidays in general and what it means to us. And he gave you a follow. Oh, thank you so much for
Thank you,
throwing him
Eyelash.
for throwing him that follow. And thank you for all your follows as well. Everyone that's come in between the two raids, and for the gift subs, for the bits. You're all incredibly generous, and you're all fantastic.
Yeah, for real.
And yeah, we were before the raid come in. We were just asking everyone if you had any last questions for camp before we did wrap up this chat. But
Yeah, their question is, who are you?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah. We kind of recapped it in the last 3 hours, but why don't we just go an extra 3 hours and we'll try and re-explain the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll just rewind. We'll fast forward. Play it at 2x speed.
Yeah, exactly. The question was, do I have contacts? Because they're gonna steal my glasses, and the answer is I do not have contacts. So please do not steal.
Did you ever?
Please no steal. It's the holidays.
Did you ever wear contacts or just always glasses?
Always glasses.
You know. We got Bran
You
here
can't
too.
steal. You gotta make me blind during the holidays.
Nintendo or Sega? That's a good question. Well,
For me?
Well, for you, I think it's pretty obvious because you.
Yeah, for me, Nintendo all the way. But at the same time, I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo. As a Smash Brothers Melee player, they've been doing my game dirty lately. So, I've kind of been, as much as I'm a total Nintendo geek and I own all their consoles and I play all their games. Mm-hmm. I do have to say that bad Nintendo. So, but at the same time, Sega. Yeah, bad. And yeah, they actually just shut down like one of the biggest tournaments of the year for Melee.
Yeah.
So it's a love-hate relationship, but it's still way better than the relationship I have with Sega, which is literally not. I think I've played one Sonic the Hedgehog game in my life.
And pineapple on pizza? Are you a pineapple on
pizza? Yeah, I can rock with pineapple on pizza. I think that I've definitely had it. I don't seek it out. Like, I'm not one who's going to order. There are plenty other better pizzas out there, but if someone handed me a slice of Hawaiian, who am I to deny a delicious piece of pizza?
I'm not so big on Hawaiian, but I do love. I'll go pepperoni, bacon, and pineapple to get that sweet and salty. I don't know if that boats your float, but
it does. What am I? Oh yeah, I actually don't have too many feelings on Sephiroth. I have played Final Fantasy VII and I enjoy it, but I was kind of like cool. I was more excited for someone like Kopps, who is, the biggest Final Fantasy fan that I know. And I was like, I immediately even though these were questions directed to me, I had to ask him about that because I was like, dude, how do you feel about Sephiroth and Smash?
It's off the screen right now, right here on the left over here. But I hung up a poster of FF7 Remake that I got at PAX, and I have like a couple of stands. I have my OG 7 Remake, and then I have the Cloud Amiibo in front. So eventually when the Sephiroth Amiibo comes out, I'm gonna put that up there too.
Oh baby. That'll look nice in the collection.
Like the FF shrine.
Here's a finger wave.
And certainly a good ass answer. Spicy
edamame. Food. Oh, dude, spicy food all the way. Fun fact. I'm an Irish boy, and I grew up with the blandest like palate ever. Like, the classic Irish like meat and potatoes palate. And then about like probably 3 years ago, I like randomly started to crave spicy foods, and I had no idea why. I think it started off with like some curry chicken or something like that, and I was kind of just like, man, I could use spice on more and more things. So like then from there, I went to like sriracha, and I started putting that on literally everything, and like any sandwich I was eating, anything I had for dinner, and then from there, it's just literally been like spice to the day I die. Like now, I literally can't eat anything without spice. So spicy foods for sure, and I'll raise you one and say that like I can't even eat things without spice anymore. It's just it's not the same. I need to put it on like my cereal now.
Also, Edamame and Thunderer Evermore. Welcome. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in too. That's my boy. Yeah, real good to see you. Hope you've all been well.
You needed the hate.
Spice Hill
Yeah,
Dad,
yeah.
yeah. Love that. Dude, I'm all about the like we have the spot here that I need to have you try out. Actually, I don't know if CCBBM told you about it. That Boneheads chicken wing bar.
Doesn't ring a bell.
All right, so it's like one of the best like wing spots ever. They have like hundreds of different flavors. They're actually on the Travel Channel one time, and you can actually see them in for like a fraction of a second in the background. But
Hey, it's like that SpongeBob episode where he's like in the commercial, like in the corner.
yeah.
There I am, Gary. There.
Thunder, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Happy to have you. Camper, your local road. No, he's from New Hampshire, but he has a friend. He has a buddy that lives like right down the road from me. That
Yeah, and
we're trying to all get together at some point.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I was in Warwick for like 4 days, like from Thursday to Monday, literally last weekend.
Mm-hmm. You were probably like literally like 2 minutes down the road for me too, from like where like because I remember CCBBM told me like actually you said he moved, right?
Right.
Okay.
They moved to the other side of Warwick.
Warwick.
Yep. White Mountains. We talked about the White Mountains earlier, Highlash.
You gotta go
I can't as a New Hampshire, right? I can't not mention the White Mountains in any sort of conversation that I have with anybody.
Gotta go to Wendell's and Norton. Never heard of that one.
Wendell's.
I pour 3.5 ounce on my body daily. But
wow, that's dedication.
But this Bonehead spot that I mentioned, because they have like hundreds of flavors. My go-tos are they have a honey sriracha, they have peach habanero, they have a really solid barbecue. Yeah, dude, it's. I'll send you the list sometime. It's crazy, and yeah, you'll have to experience that.
Definitely, I'm so down. I want to like cry now. Whenever it's not even worth my time if it doesn't make me cry and make me question my own mortality.
You New Englanders, I'm out of here. So funny.
Now you just come to New England and stay. Like this is where it's at. Especially this time of year, it's beautiful.
Minus the foot and a half of snow that we got today.
Yeah, the back-breaking labor of shoveling that I had to do today.
Yeah, at least it was like mostly powder this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't.
No, I mean that's the hardest part. One of the most annoying parts I don't talk to you about shoveling powdered snow is the fact that you can't throw it because it just all flies right back into your face.
Yep.
So I was literally doing that today. I totally forgotten. This is the first like big snowfall of the year. So I'm like shoveling. I take this big like shovelful and I just whip it because I wasn't even thinking. And the wind blew at the perfect time and it just all went directly onto my face. And I was just like, ah! And then I learned my lesson, and I was like, "Oh yes, it's this time of year again."
That's so funny, dude.
You'd honestly be Highlash would be better off. You'd be better off of just taking a shovel and just whipping it like straight up in the air. I feel like that's even better than anything you could do, like throwing it to the side, because then it just goes like away. So from now on, I think I'm gonna try that.
Has anyone told you look like Nick Robinson?
I don't know
who that is either. Who's Nick Robinson?
American actor, Christmas Carol in Jurassic World. I'll take it.
I can see slight. I mean, maybe take glasses off for a second.
I usually have
a little bit.
I usually my hair is usually like pretty nice and crazy, but I had to shovel snow a couple times today and my hair was wicked flat, so I just put on a hat for the KoppsCast.
Yeah. You still would have looked good. Let's be real.
People tell me I look like Bryce Dallas Howard. That's not a bad thing either.
Nice.
People tell me I look tired. Oh, I'm familiar with that actor.
from Jurassic World. I guess it's not that big of a role, or maybe not that big, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for popping in, everybody. Lash, thank you again so much for the raid, for those gifted subs, for all the friends that came in. And we've been chatting for a few hours. Won't keep you held up for too much longer, but yeah, Camp, thank you so much again for joining us today. It's been a blast, and yeah, thanks for all the friends that hung out today. Lash had that like massive raid today. I really appreciate that. All the new
you guys too.
Yeah, all the new friends that hung out, that popped in, that threw a follow. Let's see. A Sensitive Joy, thank you again for all those bits, and for the follow. Wreck-It Raven, thank you for the follow. Let's see, Shrub Kid with all the bits. Whole bunch of followers today. Yeah, Amanda again for that raid too. Nick with the sub. Pixel with the sub. Trip with the 9-month sub. We have that Twitch baby. Mitch with the bits as well. So yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Sky, thank you for hanging out too. Always good to see you. Robbie, good to see you. Of course, B, Jordo, Rosso, all the friends that popped in. But yeah, if you all bear with me for a minute, let's keep the love going.
Keep the love train on the tracks.
Yeah. I haven't popped into Jane's in a while. She's playing some Fallout right now, so let's go throw it to her. Looks like she's having quite the party over there. But I think I believe she's also I believe she's doing a charity thing over there too. So let's go and see what she's got going on. So yeah, let's throw her that raid. But yeah, so yeah, have a good night, everybody. I'll be on again Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're gonna be continuing our playthrough of Mother 3, which I'm really digging that one so far.
So good.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that because of Christmas, and then New Year's. It's only gonna be a couple streams for the next couple weeks, and then back to the regular 3-day schedule after that. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Mother, want to play that? Yeah, I mean, if you ever played Earthbound or you want to play Earthbound, definitely recommend it. And yeah, this game is really fun too. Very much of the same. So, but yeah, all the love to all of you.
Much love, everybody.
Oh, and actually, I completely blanked. Why did I say 1 p.m.? We have the 12-hour charity stream on Sunday. Why did I blank on that? I'm just so used to the schedule, so never mind. This Sunday, not Mother 3. Charity stream.
Look at that beautiful smile.
Supporting Toys for Tots. So that's going to be at 8 a.m. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to have a guest here. We're going to be doing some co-op stuff. We're going to do some Jackbox. So hope to see all of you there for that. Running out of time though, so let's go say hi to Jane. Let's go show her some love. Spam the pachas if you got them. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.
Amazing.